Believe it or not, ICE arrested a cop in Chicago, in a suburb. There was a police officer who was actually an illegal immigrant. And this story actually is blowing up across the internet because people are shocked to discover that there are illegal immigrant police officers. But there's a ton. You know, in California, they've got a bunch. There are DACA recipient police officers. These Democrat jurisdictions have been giving governmental public authority to arrest. They're giving non-citizens the right to arrest American citizens. And now, when ICE goes into Chicago, this is what happens. I got a prediction for this weekend, and I hope I'm wrong. The No Kings protests are expected to be all across the country, massive in Washington, D.C., but also in Chicago, New York, L.A., Portland. Well, in the past couple of weeks, we've had some, let's just say, detrimental rulings from judges in Illinois. Trump can't deploy the National Guard. ICE can't put up security barriers. And what do you think is going to happen when you get a mass protest in an area where police have been instructed they can't defend themselves and the National Guard can't be deployed to protect them, and CPD has been told to stand down, and there have been 3 rammings of DHS agents already? I hope I'm wrong, but it sounds like this weekend could be pretty bad. Now, we got some other stories. John Bolton got indicted. Surprisingly, it's not our lead because, well, it's big news, but Bolton's not like a high-level politician or anything. He's just kind of a bad dude who ran with some bad boys. So him getting indicted is news. But I'll tell you what's really interesting. Kalshi is now predicting that the midterm race is 50-50. This bucks the historical trend of the opposition party winning the midterms. Now, we're still a year away, but the prediction market is saying Republicans, it's a coin toss that they maintain control of the House. This is going to get crazy, ladies and gentlemen. We got a lot more to talk about other than that. But before we do, got some great sponsors. We got Beam Dream, my friends. Head over to shopbeam.com/Tim Pool and pick up your Beam Dream sleep powder. It's hot cocoa mix. You mix it into a glass of hot water right before bed. You stir it up. You drink it. It's got melatonin, L-theanine, magnesium, and it helps you sleep. You know, I've been drinking this every single night before bed. I've had some of the best sleep of my life. Not an exaggeration. Not reading a script. This is true. They sent us a bunch of samples. It's delicious, by the way. Cinnamon cocoa is my favorite. I started drinking it. And I've got this sleep tracker on my bed that gives me a score, 0 to 100. Usually it's like mid-80s, you know, and maybe 90. And I'm like, it's pretty good, right? And it was showing all green. I started drinking Beam Dream, and after a few nights of drinking it consistently, my sleep score went up to like 95 consistently, and I was actually surprised. I could see a visible improvement. Personally, I think it's the magnesium. Because I work out, I don't think I'm getting enough magnesium. I would get bad cramps. I recommend Beam Dream. It has done wonders for me. Go to shopbeam.com. 15 calories, no added sugars. It tastes great. Use shopbeam.com/Tim Pool. Check it out. Thank you guys for sponsoring the show. We're big fans of Beam. James O'Keefe even endorsed it on this show, and he wasn't even paid to do it. How about that? We got another great sponsor for you, my friends. It is Perplexity's Comet AI web browser. Partnering up with Rumble. This is really exciting. When I saw this news that they launched a new web browser that integrated AI, I decided to check it out, and it's really good. I was actually surprised the integration of AI, LLM, how easy it makes things. Because normally what I do is I use the browser. I use the browser search bar at the top for URLs. I just type things in, and then it just sends me whatever. Now with AI, I can actually get better responses. So my friends, last some. How much time do you spend every day in a web browser? How much time do you spend clicking around online, searching, scrolling, typing, endless tabs? It's a lot, right? There's a new AI web browser from Perplexity called Comet. It's completely changing the way you're able to interact with your browser. Check it out at perplexity.ai/Comet. It can navigate around the web like a human would. It clicks, it types, it searches, scrolls just like you would, getting what you need done. Check this out. It can order food from DoorDash, Domino's, Instacart. It can book a personalized restaurant reservation, buy stuff from Amazon, Ralph Lauren, or like a movie ticket, book a flight or a hotel, prep for your day, send a message or email, schedule something, search, respond, and analyze comments under a post, pull up something like a video, a tab, or a moment. That's crazy. It's really amazing. Download Perplexity's new AI web browser, Comet, by heading to perplexity.ai/Comet. When you download Comet, you will get a month of Rumble Premium for free. That's amazing. Check that out. But don't forget, my friends, you must smash that like button. Share the show with everyone you know. Word of mouth really does help. So if you believe in the work that we do and the hours that we put in and think it's important that people hear these stories, please tell a friend, share the URL wherever you can, because it is the most powerful way you can help. Joining us tonight, my friends, talk about this and so much more, we've got Adam Johnson.
Hey, what's going on, everyone?
Who are you? What do you do?
Oh, my name is Adam Johnson. I'm a recently pardoned terrorist. Terrible human being in general, if you ask half the population.
Former Speaker of the House.
Former Speaker of the House, short of tenure, but, I earned it. I have a book out. It's been 5 years in the making. The government told me part of the plea deal was I couldn't write a book and sell it, but since the pardon, I can. So it's called Taking a Stand, and you can buy it on my website, unlicensed.furnituremovers.com.
Did you use a pseudonym for your book via Getty?
I did not. It's actually written by a guy you saw on the internet once.
Oh, is that what it says?
It says that, yeah.
So for those that don't know, when the first photo came out of Adam carrying the lectern, like you picked it up and put it down, basically, it said the photo was via Getty, which means Getty's image distribution. And some liberals thought your name was via Getty?
Yes. Yes. There was actually a pretty prominent journalist that made a tweet about it saying, this is via Getty. If you have any information, please let us know.
Do you guys remember when, I can't remember the guy's name, he was at Ferguson during the riots?
Yeah, I know.
And there were some earplugs on the ground. And he's like, are these rubber bullets? And so it's funny because me and my buddies who did actual conflict reporting facepalmed in embarrassment. Why are you here? But Adam, it's great to have you back on the show. So it should be fun and funny. We look forward to hearing from you. We got Seamus hanging out.
My name's Seamus Coughlin. Over the past 11 years, myself and my team have created over 600 animated cartoons. And the reason we're doing this is because you can't win the culture war without creating culture. And as it currently stands, the entertainment industry is dominated by people who hate our values, who hate our way of life, and who I believe hate our country. If you want to help us fight back and become the new entertainment media and compete with Hollywood, help us create the show that we're currently working to fund. We've already made the 25-minute long pilot. The show's called Twisted Plots. It's an anthology series that promotes our values, not through ham-fisted monologues or preaching, but good story and good jokes. So go over to twistedplots.com. Help us fight this culture war. Again, we can't do it without making culture. Thank you so much.
And if you would see as I see, and you would seek as I seek, then I ask you all to go to twistedplots.com and give $50 now to win the culture war. I could go, but come on.
Agreed.
I keep telling Seamus, it's just quote V for Vendetta. Mary's hanging out.
Hi, everyone. My name is Mary Morgan. You can usually find me on Pop Culture Crisis here at Timcast. We're actually going to have Seamus on tomorrow. And I'm glad that you broke the ice with your shilling there, because I have some shilling to do as well. I'm currently enjoying a cup of my very own Mary's Ghost Blend, which you can now get at castbrew.com. It's s'mores flavored. It's perfect for autumn nights. You're chilling around the campfire. You're telling ghost stories. It's perfect for this season, so make sure you get a bag before Halloween.
Hello, everybody. My name is Phil Labonte. I'm the lead singer of the heavy metal band All That Remains. I'm an anti-communist and a counter-revolutionary. Buy their stuff. Let's get into it.
So much to buy. Here's a story from CNN. ICE arrests police officer in Chicago suburb and accuses him of being in the U.S. illegally. A lot of people are really shocked by this story, but what I find really funny about it is that we've known there are illegal immigrant police officers for some time. This is just starting to shock people, so it is the lead. Check this out. ICE agents arrested a police officer Thursday morning in the Chicago suburb of Hanover Park. I once lived there briefly, accusing him of being an unlawful immigrant. I like to say unlawful from Montenegro. The DHS officer, DHS says the officer, Radul Bojovic, is that how you say that? Bojovic?
Yep.
Overstayed a tourist visa that expired in 2015. According to the department, Bojovic was encountered during a targeted enforcement action in ICE's immigration-focused operation in Illinois. The Hanover Park Police Department shared a Facebook post in August announcing Bojovic's recent graduation from the Suburban Law Enforcement Academy, adding they had started an intensive 15 weeks of field training and evaluation as he continues preparing to serve the Hanover Park community. CNN reached out to the Hanover Park Police for comment and has attempted to contact Bojovic. Is it Bojovic? I don't know how you pronounce it. Bojovic? He violated our nation's laws and was living illegally in the U.S. for 10 years. What kind of police department gives criminal illegal aliens badges and guns? It's a felony for aliens to even possess a firearm. A law enforcement officer who is actively breaking the law, said DHS Assistant Secretary Tricia McLaughlin in a statement to CNN on Thursday. In September, ICE agents arrested the superintendent of Iowa's largest school district, accusing him of being in the country illegally since the early 2000s. And by the way, leftists, he's white.
Right? It's a big deal.
That proves it.
Wait a minute. So you're telling me it's not motivated by racism?
No.
No, that's proof. That's proof that it is racism. They're only doing it because he's white. Yeah, because
The fact that he was able to become a cop proves racism exists.
Exactly.
all the Latinos they're all Spanish descent, so they're white too. So that's why it's all racism.
That's a very good point.
This is I don't think people understand the extent to which the Democrats over the past 10 or so years, longer, 20, have been literally shredding this country up. We sat here for the most part, American citizens, assuming that our leaders were being good stewards of our American tradition and this country. They were actually opening the door for non-citizens to vote, to be law enforcement officers, to work in our public institutions. They were attempting to dismantle this country. And wait, there's more. Take a look at this from the LA Times. This is from earlier in the year. LAPD has immigrant officers protected by DACA. In other words, they have illegal immigrant police officers that have deferred status. That is the current status. Could Trump try to deport them? Yes, he could rescind DACA, and he should. And it is insane that we've come to this point. And I know there's going to be a lot of people. You know, Rogan was saying recently, like, these guys have been here for 20 years, have a heart, they should stay. This is the same argument they made in the 80s and the 90s. And every single time they promise they will not do it again. They'll say, okay, let's grant amnesty to these people who've been here for like 20 years, but we just won't do it again. And then they do. So it is not callous to say, guys, 3 strikes and you're out.
Look, everyone that's illegal has to go. That's all there is to it.
Don't they do background checks? Shouldn't this have flagged somewhere? I know that when I was on federal probation, I couldn't get a job at Walmart and McDonald's. So one of the requirements was you had to be gainfully employed or go to college. So I couldn't get a job at Walmart or McDonald's because I had a felony theft that I was charged with. They said I was a loss prevention issue.
So I assume that if they did do, or my assumption, right? This isn't like I know anything, but I assume that they were going by the standards set by the Obama administration, which was DACA recipients can stay and they get to be treated as if they're legally here. So if that is the case, and again, this is just an assumption, if that's the case, it does make sense. They would be like, well, it's fine. He's a deferred action. So because he's deferred action, we're going to go ahead and allow him to get a job.
Well, I know in Iowa they used a third party to do the background check on the superintendent. So they washed their hands of it, said this isn't our fault. We used a party. They must have missed it.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know what the deal is, obviously, but like now, new sheriff's in town. Gotta go. I don't care.
Yeah,
all of them.
But have you guys considered that no human being is illegal?
I have considered that, and then I rejected it out of hand because
What?
it's dumb.
What?
You gotta go back. Everybody that's here illegally has to go. Goodbye.
I was told that trespassing is bad.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
You weren't you? Someone said that.
Yeah, a while ago.
Who said such a thing? That's not correct. You're allowed to go wherever you want, whenever you want, and stay there forever.
Exactly.
Oh, okay.
Because borders are an imaginary line.
I think
That's what I
someone
was
owes me an
told. Is that
apology.
borders are an imaginary line. What can I do about it?
I think when people start to realize how many people have been granted authority. I mean, Democrats in San Francisco, I think, or I'm sorry, it might have been Sacramento, but California and New York were trying to pass city resolutions that illegal immigrants would be able to vote. Mm-hmm. The argument was, if you live here, you can vote. Now, of course, the Democrats are going to argue, no, this wasn't about illegal immigrants, but that's the game they play because to a Democrat, no one's illegal.
Yep.
So literally by virtue of being here, you're our neighbor. Now, what happens?
A friend we haven't made yet. That's what I always say.
Newcomers.
I say they're just friends we haven't made yet.
What happens when Democrats bring in 20 million people and then Trump tries to enforce against these people who are here? They will scream "Ayúdame" in the streets, and other illegal immigrants will attack the police to protect them. Mm-hmm. Because if you own a house and 3 guys break in and you, the homeowner, say, "Get out of my house," do you think these men are going to say, "Sure"? Or do you think they're going to say, "Nah, we outvote you"?
Yeah, they'll probably say they outvote you. They'll say squatters' rights.
They'll probably just attack you and take your stuff.
Yeah.
They probably won't have a chance to speak in my house if they break in.
See, that's the thing, though. I got to pause you there. That would be the case if you were arguing you had the monopoly on violence as the authority in your house. But let's try another analogy. You live in your home, and you have a roommate who has asserted the authority to enforce the rules of the apartment, and they hand their gun to one of these guys who broke in and say he's in charge now. That's basically what we're seeing in our cities. When you have an illegal immigrant who's a cop, he's going to tell you what for.
Yeah, exactly.
He's going to lock American citizens up, and we're going to pay for it for these guys who are not citizens.
Yeah, it's totally wild. I'm also curious to see what the left is going to say about this because ICE has arrested him. Are we going to get more like flip-flopping on law enforcement? Are they going to start bellowing about how we need to support law enforcement in this country after they've been openly defying federal law enforcement and ICE?
Well, these cities that are complaining are the same cities that were pepperballing residents for being outside after curfew during COVID.
Oh, yeah.
So, for them to say we care about our citizens, but that a few short years ago we were locking people down and shooting them for being outside their front doorstep, I mean, pick a side.
Yeah, look, the only thing I have to say about this is all of the arguments surrounding it don't matter to me. Mm-hmm. If they're here illegally, they got to go.
Yeah.
I mean, it doesn't matter.
DACA recipients?
Yeah. I don't have a problem with sending DACA recipients back because if you're a DACA recipient, you can see the writing on the wall. You need to prepare for the eventuality,
Well, and the idea that like legislatively with a wave of the magic wand and without these people having gone through the traditional legal process to enter, they could just be given this protected status has been the game the Democrats have been trying to play with illegal immigration for years and years. And most notably under the Biden administration when they were saying these people had temporary protected status or when activist judges set the precedent that if somebody says that they're afraid to go back or request asylum, they are therefore here legally because they're an asylum seeker. It's ridiculous. So you can't allow them to morally grandstand on this and say those people are protected. You can't send them back because they fabricated out of whole cloth a set of rules that gave those people special protections, even though they already broke immigration law to get in here.
Yeah.
Well, that's why we have birthright citizenship. It's the same thing. They say, well, think about the children. They use them as pawns to keep the whole family here. That's also got to go. Yeah. Birthright citizenship needs to go.
But thinking about your children, that's fascism, right? Thinking about how you can make the best possible country for your own children, that's fascism. You have to think about everyone else's kids instead.
I don't. I don't have to do that. I'm not going to do that, and I don't care what names they call me. They've already called me all the names.
Exactly.
They've called me all the names that they can call me. So all of that stuff is like water off a duck's back. I don't care.
Arsenal's
they got to
empty.
go.
Yeah.
Have you ever seen a duck in the rain? They stop moving and stand there to minimize the amount of exposure to the rain so the water just rolls off. Videos are hilarious. There'll be like 10 ducks just like this, and they don't move.
And it just keeps going right off,
That's
right?
what we're doing, and we can't do that. I mean, you got to get out of the rain, you know what I mean?
Well, they're going to look, whether it's raining or not, they're going to call me names, so I don't care.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think Chicago this weekend is going to get absolutely insane. The judge said no barriers. The judge said no National Guard. And now you've got exposed DHS that have already been rammed numerous times. So it's almost like the judges are intentionally creating a circumstance where there's going to be murders or they're going to force the cops to engage rioters during the No Kings protests. I got a question for you guys.
Yeah.
Should we watch the New York City debate? We're at the halfway mark.
I'd be interested in seeing snippets of it.
Let's roll with it. Let's jump to the New York City mayoral debate because we'll see what we got going on.
In Albany as a sponsor to decriminalize prostitution.
The difference between myself and Andrew Cuomo, of which there are many, is that there is no one
Woman who is a prostitute that would be decriminalized.
What are we jumping to?
That is what the bill says. And that's what he said, if you listen very carefully. That would take Roosevelt Avenue and explode it. Because it would make it legal for prostitutes.
But real quick, how would you handle this situation?
You have to enforce the law. It's illegal. I went to Roosevelt Avenue. I talked to the store owners. I talked to the neighbors. I walked down Roosevelt Avenue with prostitutes there at 9 o'clock in the morning.
Your turn, Mr. Sliwa.
He's against the street.
Wait, why was
Down Roosevelt Avenue at 9 in the morning with prostitutes.
Yeah, why was he doing
with
that?
open air prostitution and Times Square. You don't go after the women. The women are the victims here.
Oh,
you
shut up.
lock up the Johns, you shame the Johns. You let everybody know about the Johns. The madams and the pimps need to be prosecuted to the full extent of the law. And these absentee landlords who knowingly rent their rooms. There are apartments out for the use of prostitution. The Department of Building should come in, padlock the building, seize the building.
It's not the prostitute's fault.
Many of these landlords live in Delray, Florida.
Sometimes it is sex trafficking, but yeah, it's not always. It's not always, yeah, but when the status quo becomes like they're never choosing to do this.
And they're doing it again, and there's no enforcement. That's why the prostitution.
We're going to go to Sally now.
Thank you, David. We're going to talk a bit about experience and beliefs.
We've
covered a lot of ground tonight, but we want to probe a bit deeper into each of your mindsets
as long as they're
and how
wearing
you'll approach
burqas.
governing
He's like, I actually
as
want to
mayor.
punish landlords who
Mr.
don't house
Cuomo,
prostitutes.
you have touted your
That's how I feel.
experience on the
It's
campaign trail
discriminatory.
time and again, but you pretty squarely lost the Democratic primary to Mr. Mamdani, forcing you, a lifelong Democrat, to run as an independent. When you announced that decision, you said, quote, "When you get knocked down, learn the lesson and pick yourself back up." What lesson did you learn, and what do you feel it said about you, something you did wrong, something that you need to change about yourself?
Yeah, I think in the primary campaign, I did not do enough on social media, which is a very effective medium now. I think the Assemblyman did do a better job on TikTok and social media than I did during the campaign, and that has changed now. I've also increased my activity significantly, but my agenda is exactly the same. I am the Democrat, although I'm not on the Democratic line. He is a Democratic socialist, called Barack Obama evil and a liar. Didn't vote for Kamala Harris. Fight and deliver is
I agree with that too.
I will fight for people, I will fight the bureaucracy, and I will deliver results. New Yorkers need the mayor to get something done. This is all words and theories.
That actually is a bad move for him.
This is a question about
because for like someone like me in New York, if there was someone like me who had no idea who Zoran was, and he goes, he called Barack Obama a liar and didn't vote for Kamala. Like I'd be like, okay, tell me more. I like this, right? Like,
I just have to say, it's been an hour and 20 minutes of this debate, and we haven't heard Governor Cuomo say the word affordability. That's why he lost the primary. That's why he'll lose the general election. And you can lie all you want, but the truth is, I voted for Kamala Harris. I'm the only candidate on the stage to have the endorsement of Kamala Harris, and I'm not the one who's funded by Bill Ackman, who called Kamala Harris unqualified to be the vice president of this country.
He has posts on social media where he's like, go communism.
Yes.
And he's saying things like defund the police.
There are a lot of New Yorkers who support me. And there are a lot of Jewish New Yorkers who support me because they think you're anti-Semitic. So it's not about Trump or Republican.
Over the past several
it's
years?
about you.
I know it's been pretty bad in Florida.
Do you think he's anti-Semitic, Mr. Cuomo?
I don't make those judgments about people. Are you a racist? Are you an anti-Semite? I know there are many Jewish people who believe he is anti-Semitic. I believe not condemning the globalized Intifada, what he has said about Hamas.
But Mr.
I can
Cuomo,
see where they are
I'm
inflamed.
sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt. I covered your speech in an Upper West Side synagogue where you said anti-Zionism is anti-Semitism. There is no difference. And you were talking about Mr. Mamdani. Is that not an allegation?
No, I make that statement all the time. I wasn't referring to Mamdani.
Okay, all right.
What is Sliwa's
position
on Israel? I don't know.
Then we have to move on.
I have denounced Hamas again and again, and it will never be enough for Andrew Cuomo because what he is willing to say, even though not on this stage, is to call me, the first Muslim on the precipice of leading this city, a terrorist sympathizer, is to send mailers that artificially lengthen my beard, is to say to New Yorkers that they should be fearful when I will deliver for
I know. Let's ask a specific question
Mr.
for you.
Mamdani, you are the Democratic nominee, and you're also a member, as we've been discussing, of a political organization that may be less familiar to New Yorkers, the Democratic Socialists of America, which believes in dismantling capitalism. New York City is the global headquarters of the finance industry. So how would you be the mayor of Wall Street and the DSA? You have 1 minute.
I would be the mayor of this entire city. And that means ensuring that the wealth that we generate in this city is also wealth that every single New Yorker can actually feel in their pockets. Because what we have today is a system that has generated the most wealth in the wealthiest country in the history of the world, where 1 in 4 of our neighbors are living in poverty. That's unacceptable. We can't look at 500,000 kids hungry every single night as just the cost of doing business in this city. That's something we have to actually change. And I'm going to do that by fighting for my neighbors in Queens that I've come to know, who are not only the ones who own teapots and toy stores, who own diners and dry cleaners, but also the ones who work there. Because right now, all of them are being pushed out of this city by corporate greed, by private equity, and by a politics that refuses to fight for them. I will finally
just a quick follow-up, Mr. Mamdani.
New York might start to have problems.
That flee socialism
Can you imagine?
and are a little bit scared to hear your policies. What would you tell them?
Well, I would first say that I wouldn't be here without the support of Latino New Yorkers, because it was the majority of their support that helped to make me the Democratic nominee.
So much,
and what democratic socialism means is a belief in the dignity
Spanish
of
words
each and
like
every
they're
New Yorker
ordering
and
in
the
a Mexican
responsibility city
restaurant.
government has to deliver that dignity.
When I go
That's
to
why I'm
Papa
speaking about
John's,
childcare.
I go,
because it's
can I get
pricing
a
out
large
New Yorkers from the city.
mozzarella?
That's why I'm
Exactly.
thinking about
And then the guy
mozzarella.
says
Because taxing isn't a
Muslim is
human right in the way that we practice our politics in this city.
Exactly.
And that's why
I've literally had people, when I was at art school, I had someone correct me for saying Muslim and not Muslim, and they were not even Muslim. I was like, bro, I don't pronounce things in the accent native to most of the people who are in that category. That's not how. I don't like when I'm talking about New York pizza. I don't call it like a New York slice.
Why do you believe that New York is
you
ready
don't,
to elect
you don't
Republican
affect an accent whenever you pronounce something from a different region.
I don't say Brooklyn like Brooklyn.
I'm like, yeah, exactly.
Wait,
we grew up and we would have chaos. Did I not? Of course I did. And I get praised for that. Now I'm trying to get people to vote for me. Not just on the Republican line, but also my wife, Nancy, who is the best thing that's ever happened to me, created the first ever independent Protect Animals line, which calls for no-kill shelters and putting animal abusers in jail. But the other thing that differentiates me from both of my adversaries is that I am opposed to the city of Yes, which will destroy the residential neighborhood. Both of them are for the city of Yes. So when you vote for me, whether on the Republican line or the Protect Animals line, turn your ballot over and vote no on all those initiative and referendums. Imagine, they've said, how can you, Curtis, a Republican, work with a Democratic majority in the council? Adrian Adams is in agreement with me. The Democratic city council people are in agreement with me. No to the city of Yes, which will take your homes and provide you instead with lithium-ion battery warehouses next to your house, which are like mini Chernobyl. I'm the only candidate who is opposed to the city of Yes.
What if Sliwa just wins?
Just do I have a quick follow-up to that, Mr. Sliwa. How do you bring down costs if you don't build more housing?
Oh, it's very simple to build housing.
Did they change
you
the
just
signer?
look in New York City. We have so many dense areas where you no longer can use the commercial space.
The sign language woman is
black used to be office
in honor of
space,
Ketanji
and you
Brown
just
Jackson
convert
black
it
people are
into
disabled.
residential housing. You don't need to go into the outer boroughs. You don't need to use wetlands or parklands, which they seek to do. If you build a new building, it takes 5 years. If you convert an
All right, Mr. Sliwa, thank you. We want to change the pace a little bit. We want to change the pace and just get a sense of what you think about political leadership. We're curious about who you admire. Who's the best modern-day U.S. president? Mr. Cuomo?
Donald Trump.
Barack Obama.
Modern day? Well, I'm partial. I was Bill Clinton's Housing and Urban Development Secretary. We built affordable housing all across the United States.
Dropper.
Empowerment zones.
We had the best secretaries back then. None
Okay,
of them
Mr.
complete.
Mamdani?
No.
I would say FDR.
Mr. Sliwa?
Is modern day?
Even though he put people of a specific ethnicity
Man,
in camps
I'd
and
say FDR
went for
also.
more than 2 terms,
That's
and
modern
all the
day.
things you're afraid
Mr.
Trump will
Sliwa.
do?
A man that ended up being loved by Democrats and Republicans alike. The greatest governor we've ever had in my lifetime, George Pataki. 3 terms, no chaos, no corruption.
I was asking.
And he actually beat
President.
the federal
President.
your father.
Mr. Sliwa, modern-day U.S.
This
president.
governor and this
Modern-day U.S.
president.
president.
Who's the
Who you thought the best modern
best president in our lifetime? I would say the best president in our lifetime that I've experienced, I would go back to Ronald Reagan.
Ronald Reagan. Okay. How about the best New
I
York
didn't
City
expect
mayor,
that.
Mr. Sliwa?
Yeah, that was only 40-some-odd years ago. So
Yeah.
Best
I just
New
didn't
York City
expect him
mayor.
to say Reagan.
Rudy Giuliani, who endorsed me last week.
Okay.
And I'd have a little bit of Michael Bloomberg thrown in because he liked
Mr.
the delegate
Mamdani?
responsibility.
I think the best New York City mayor of all time is Fiorello LaGuardia.
Mr. Cuomo?
It was Bill de Blasio last debate.
No, I've always said Fiorello is the best mayor of all time.
Who's yours, Mr. Cuomo?
Is it of all time or modern time?
Best New York City mayor in Europe.
Of all time, it is Fiorello LaGuardia.
We agree?
Recently, I would say Mayor Dinkins and Mayor Bloomberg.
Okay. How about the political leader, dead or alive, you most admire? Mr. Mamdani?
I would say I admire Bernie Sanders.
Ugh.
Mr. Cuomo?
My father.
Gross.
I hate his smile.
I know.
I said it
so
already. George
smart.
Pataki was loved by Democrats and Republicans and the greatest mayor in our lifetime.
All right.
Greatest governor in our
I just have
lifetime.
one more before Sally starts to ask you about schools. A show of hands. Who supports Kathy Hochul for re-election?
Don't do it. Don't do it.
It's a decision that should be made after this general election.
So no decision. Mr. Cuomo, you handpicked her as your lieutenant governor. No thought.
You have to know who's running.
Yeah. Okay. So.
And I would add that I do think that Kathy Hochul, our governor, has been doing a good job in not only
Do you
serving
support her
and
for
delivering,
re-election?
not only delivering for New Yorkers, but also standing up to Donald Trump.
Just what? Do you support her for re-election?
Then endorse her.
I'm focusing on November.
Why don't you
and I
endorse her?
appreciate her support.
All right,
And
thanks,
that's a
Candace.
Jerry
Good
Springer
work.
shaky
Candace.
cam.
How about a shout out for Elise
we're gonna
Stefanik
turn
to
to-
take
You are
out
the
Kathy
father.
Hochul.
No,
So you have a
okay.
Republican
All right.
Mayor Curtis,
All right.
a Republican Governor
Thank you, gentlemen.
Stefanik,
Thank you.
like Giuliani.
We want to talk about
and Pataki, who
schools.
saved this city.
We want to talk
and
about
state.
schools. Sally?
Okay. Thank you, David. Let's turn to education. There are a number
I
of
gotta be honest,
issues
it kind of
facing
feels like watching
schools.
like a presidential
One
debate
that's
in
been
France.
controversial in the
Yeah.
campaign
These are
is the
not
Gifted and
people I
Talented
in any way
program, which
associate
offers
with or agree with.
accelerated
Even Curtis
instruction to
Sliwa, the
elementary school
Republican, is far
children.
left.
Mr.
Yeah.
Mamdani, you have said that you want to phase out the
You kinda
Gifted and
have to be
Talented
getting
program,
attention in New
while
York.
Mr.
Yes, you do.
Cuomo and
No, you gotta
Mr.
up there to be
Sliwa want
based.
to expand it. Mr.
I don't think
Sliwa, we will
that's
start with you. What is
gonna
your
work.
plan
Sliwa's
for the
not gonna
program?
win.
You have 1
I don't think
minute.
he.
Gifted and talented.
Yes, gifted and
I
talented.
think
I
Republicans
have
left
two
New York.
younger
It is
sons
deeply
with
blue than it's ever
Melinda
been.
Katz, the Queen's DA. They both attempted to get into Gifted and Talented.
He needs to
as
just go as
4-year-olds.
far right as he can,
They
just
failed.
off the deep end.
It did not.
He needs to just pull up the
present
text
a
messages
problem
from that
with
group
their
chat and start
future
reading them.
education. We don't have enough slots. Right now, they're 1,900. We need to have at least 5,000 slots around the city. What they have not done at the Department of Education is make these tests available in Black and Hispanic communities. So, for instance, you have 77,000 children who are 4 years old. Only 10,000 have taken the test. Only 2,000 are accepted. Why not offer the test to all 77,000? And even if a gifted and talented class only has 3 or 4 in a minority school, give these children an opportunity to excel too. That would make it fair for everybody.
I just want
Thank you. Mr. Cuomo, how does your plan differ from
really
Mr.
For all of
Sliwa's?
them,
You
you
also
can't
have
decide who
1
your
minute.
favorite is. You're like, I just wish I could vote for
First,
everyone there.
I support mayoral control. I think it would be a
I just want
terrible
to point out,
mistake
like,
to roll back mayoral
all
control.
moderate-leaning individuals
That's
have already
probably
fled
been the most
New
dramatic
York.
Yeah.
educational
And so
reform in 40 years.
it's basically
We go
like
back to the
watching
old
some
system
post-apocalyptic
that had local
dystopia
school
and
boards,
3
which
hobos
were
like
corrupt,
fight over the last
patronage
campaign.
mills, etc.
Trump
So who
did
runs the
get a
system
jump
is
in
number one.
votes in
I
New
would
York
expand
City this
gifted and
past
talented
election.
programs,
in 2020.
accessibility.
He got
I'd offer
30%, I
preparatory
think.
courses
That's
to
right.
any
Yeah, he
student
got- he
parent
did-
that wanted to
He
take them.
performed shockingly
I
well in
doubled
certain
the
blue
number
areas.
of
Like, he didn't win
specialized
them, but
high
you went, wow.
schools
Yeah.
He
from
got that
9
many
to
votes there.
18.
Yeah.
And
For
I
those,
would
for those that
keep
are wondering, we were
SAT,
thinking about not playing the debate. We decided to
as
because
it is.
Zohran Mamdani may end up the
you.
leader of the
And
Democratic
Mr.
Party.
Mamdani-
It's
Add
not a
one
joke
thing.
or an exaggeration.
Very
There's been
His
no
popularity
discussion
in New York is
about vocational high
skyrocketing.
schools.
Okay.
You're going to have a
So
Senate
many
race
young
coming
men
up.
and
He
women
may
who
very
need
well
to
try to
expand
rocket himself
vocational
to the
training
front
for
of the
those
Democratic
who are not
Party.
able to achieve
AOC
Here
can't
with
do
Mr.
it.
Mamdani.
He's a
Why
guy.
should the
He might be
Gifted
able
and
to.
Talented program be
Why
phased
can't
Do you not
out
think women
in
are
your
capable
opinion?
of anything men can do while wearing heels? I don't.
When AOC came out of that rally with what was her name, like Bowman or whatever, and she was going, "Wow, wow, wow," I was like, that raspy, high-pitched voice right away.
Whoa,
Like,
sounds a little close to the SH word, bro.
which one?
Shrill. Sounds like you're calling her shrill, and I don't appreciate
it was-
misogynistic
it
dog
was
words.
raspy and
She's a
shrill.
nasty woman.
She's also
Well,
put
I
on-
mean,
I'm not a part of
Listen,
this conversation.
There are. This is the leftist argument,
Offends me.
right? I'm going to be a leftist right now and say there is inherent sexism against women, and AOC is not going to be able to win. Look, I've done a nonprofit fundraising, and we talked about this all the time. I was on Schaub and Cowan's podcast. I love this point. There is. I'll ask you, Adam. There are 2 characteristics, each one unique to a man, to a woman, that ensures they will be excellent fundraisers. Among men, what do you think is the one characteristic that ensures they will be able to raise lots of money from the public?
They have to be independently successful with themselves.
No, that is completely irrelevant.
Height.
Yes, that is correct. Tall men,
I knew it.
regardless of what they say, will make lots of money. Now, among women, there is one trait that ensures they will make lots of money from the public, and which would be?
Giant personalities.
If I'm reading the room properly, I think you're correct, but in layman's terms,
They have to look nice.
large knockers.
Yes.
So
Is that literally
How
the
is that
metric?
even provable?
So
Nancy Pelosi.
I will put it this way. I have worked in.
It's so offensive, but it's so true.
I have worked in several offices. I think probably 4 or 5 different fundraising offices. Some of these offices fundraised for multiple different companies. The one, and I was a manager and a director. And the one thing that was consistent across the board was that, like, I knew this one guy who was 6'5", dumb as a box of rocks. He would walk up to people and go, "Hey, like trees make oxygen."
They thought they were being robbed.
No, they would just
like, "All right, here's my checkbook."
It was women. It was all women, and they would give them their credit cards like that. And then the women with big boobs would walk up to guys, and the guys would hand over their credit cards. Then there were like your average person, and they would struggle. There was one guy I knew who was short and pudgy, who was really good, but he talked like Joe Pesci real quick. Like, come on, tell me. And then people would just be like hypnotized.
He had an oily charisma.
They're called short kings.
Indeed. So, he had the confidence and the aggression. But that's the point I'm making about AOC is that there's something about leadership. You do not, tall, deep voices inspire people, and shrill voices do not. And this will always be a disadvantage for female candidates. So Zohran Mamdani has a very good chance, in my opinion, of being the leader of the Democratic Party within the next 4 years.
Well,
How tall
Zohran
is he,
is
though?
5'10". Does he make the cut?
Yes.
I mean, if he wears high
short king?
tops,
It doesn't matter because Democrats are all like I describe the Democratic Party as like the Horde. So for those that are not familiar with Warcraft lore, the Alliance was like the kingdom of the humans, the elves, and they have like these big beautiful cities. And then the Horde was like degenerate random filth that came together just like because they had no choice. And so among Democrats, you'll find short, fat, like failure of individuals demanding everyone else pay for their stuff. So you don't need to be 6 foot tall. It helps. But Zohran is the smarmy, weaselly leftist. He has the best chance, in my opinion, among any emergent Democrat. When we talk about how they have no leadership and no backbench, Zohran is the front of that. And in fact, I would argue right now, Zohran is the best Democrat that exists for the party in terms of rallying potential and charisma, but he's a little early. So AOC has, 6-7 years behind her, affording her a lot more space. I don't see AOC ever being able to win a presidential race. Seriously, ever.
Not if she keeps putting on those
unless the Republican, unless there's just 2 women running, and then it's AOC versus another woman. Ugh. But Mamdani, especially with this, if he wins,
Harry's just like, ugh.
If Mamdani wins this race, and he likely will, he is going to be the leader of the Democratic Party.
Yeah, but he can't be the president because he wasn't born here. So
that's a good point. But
they'll try to change that.
They already are.
Well, I mean, if he becomes the leader of the Democrat Party, I mean, you need an amendment.
But they override the process all the time. Like you have these judges who have no authority to tell Trump what he can and can't be doing.
Yeah, I mean, I get what you're saying, but it'd be very difficult to come up with the method to actually override.
I disagree. They're going to go the Cenk Uygur route when he filed the suit and say that a person who is naturalized is a natural citizen. And that Cenk Uygur's argument, which is it's a decent argument if you're going to go this route, is that if someone becomes a citizen, they are a citizen in all rights and privileges. If the argument is that some citizens are more equal than others, then you have no equality under the law. And trust me, if the left wins and they take the Supreme Court, they are absolutely going to make that argument that you cannot have unequal citizenship.
You would need a new Supreme Court for that.
In fact, what the left would do is they would say no one who was born here can be president. It's time to step aside.
They would argue that if you're white, you can't be president because too many of them have been white, and that's not equality. They would argue that it's inequality under the law to have only white presidents. Therefore, the next president has to be not white.
They kind of already do. Yeah, they kind of already do because they're like, well, our party can't nominate some other white guy. We've got too many white guys as president.
If Barack Obama is black, then they can also say that Barack Obama is white because he's half white. He's half black and half white.
True.
So if you can say he's black, you can also say he's white. So that means we have never had a black president. So now it's all white presidents. So it's only fair to have an actual
Everyone
black
pretty
president.
much assumes that the black overrides the white. So
well, only when it's convenient.
Right.
Only when it's convenient. And the Democrats have consistently used those kind of, or used things that are One way when it's convenient, and then a different way when it's not convenient.
If you weren't born here, you shouldn't even be able to run for school board. In my opinion.
I agree.
Much less be a superintendent.
No,
I want to, guys.
You should be able to be a cop.
We'll jump back to the debate, but I want to pull this up. This is from Stephen Crowder. Hidden camera. Zoran Mamdani campaign citywide canvas director admits plan to force NYPD to defy ICE, make it harder to deport illegals, confesses coordinated socialist takeover of New York City, reveals the Democratic Socialists of America is the backbone of the Mamdani campaign. Quote, the thing that we really keyed in on was South Asian Muslim voters and getting them out to vote. We organize the mosques. We get the imams to tell people to go vote. We get young lesbian white women to give out flyers in a mosque. The people that I worked with on AOC's campaign are actually on Zoran's campaign. And then a couple of people I worked with on Jamal Bowman's campaign are actually on Zoran's campaign. The only thing Mamdani can do is stop the NYPD from helping ICE. He can go to the NYPD and be like, do not let them into the courthouses. So this is pretty intense because should Zoran Mamdani win, right? We are looking right now at this. There's a former federal prosecutor in Chicago interviewed about the allegations that ICE agents and DHS were defying court orders. And he said, we stand on the edge of a precipice staring into the abyss. If Trump starts defying the courts, we have no idea. It's going to be chaos. And that is exactly what they're already arguing has happened. And with the judges telling Trump to tear the DHS, take the barriers down, Trump can't deploy National Guard, and these massive, million-person marches planned for this weekend, it's going to get nuts. If Zoran Mamdani wins in New York, it is going to be another city that falls to what I would only describe as a non-American influence or under the control of a non-American entity.
Yeah. Well, and these people have nothing but criticism.
Oh, wait, I'm sorry. We got sanctuary city policy. Pull this up.
Sure.
Be assigned to every person who is undergoing any review by the federal government or any legal proceeding. And put the full weight of the city government behind it and make sure they are legally protected.
Mr. Sliwa, what's your plan?
Look, going after the criminals, that's the job of Immigration and Naturalization Service, ICE. But when they have to perform under a quota, because I speak to many of the men and women who serve this country, it's putting too much pressure to go outside of courthouses, to go Home Depot, shape-ups, or the backs of restaurants,
New York
and hospitality businesses.
Yeah. Even their right-wing candidate is saying, let illegal immigrants stay.
Workers now. Yeah. I can tell you, I have 3 sons. None of them are going to do that work. Some Americans will, but most won't.
Sounds like you're a terrible father.
Migrants who are workers, who are essential workers, and use ICE to go after the drug dealers,
the color of my skin.
the gangbangers, the sexual
calling his sons
predators, and those who are sex trafficking and involved in narco
better than you. They don't have to do that stuff.
Yeah.
I'd be proud to be the first immigrant mayor of this city in generations. And it's at 26 Federal Plaza that I've seen what used to be moments when New Yorkers would be getting their citizenship turn into moments of tragedy, where judges are asking New Yorkers who are there for a routine immigration check-in whether they're prepared to leave in the very same clothes that they arrived to that courthouse. I agree that we need more legal representation. I also think we need to actually be able to stand up to Donald Trump, because I heard from Pastor in East Flatbush, Pastor Galbraith, who told me how he accompanied a member of his congregation to 26 Federal Plaza. He sat there as a judge was determining her fate. They managed to convince the judge to replace the deportation order with a TPS order, but they knew that ICE would not care about that change, and they had to sprint her out of the building, smuggling her into the elevator in order to get her back to Brooklyn.
Sounds like the priest should be arrested too.
Let's play this clip real quick.
I want to talk about New York City's economy.
What's this clip? Phil just sent me.
It's genocide. And I find the comments that Hassan made on 9/11 to be objectionable and reprehensible. And I also think that part of the reason why Democrats are in the situation that we are in, of being a permanent minority in this country, is we are looking only to speak to journalists.
Bro, Hassan is... he's
deciding
cooked,
to move its headquarters to New York City or to
It's crazy
Dallas.
it's taken this long, though.
The CEO is concerned.
It
New York
really
just
is.
raised its
that someone
corporate
with that
taxes and
toxic of a
employees
track
will pay more
record was
for everything.
able to get
Look
the
into
time
the
of
camera and make
day
your pitch to that
with a
CEO
leading candidate
to come here and not there.
in any
Do it in
race.
30 seconds.
New York City has something that Dallas or no other city across this country could actually offer. And that is the quality of life. That is the arts and the culture. That is the people that make the city so special. And I, as the mayor of this city, will deliver that quality of life, will deliver the safety that is the cornerstone of an affordability agenda, and will ensure that companies choose to come to this city and also choose to stay in this city. Because so much of what drives the tech sector is a hunger for innovation, a unrepenting desire to actually innovate, and those are the very things that are going to characterize my city government in this.
But what do you say
Masturbating
to
homeless
about
on
the
the
corporate
subway.
taxes and also
The
the
fourth one.
staggering costs for the worker?
We are going to make the city more affordable so that workers who want to work at those companies can actually be able to do so. And we're going to ensure that
it's
this
actually
city
20% of the New York City
one
economy.
where we see businesses opening and also staying open.
Extra flavor. You can't handle it,
Mr. Cuomo,
Whitey?
something of a reverse scenario for you. The CEO of a similar company
don't have
with
any culture?
1,000 good jobs tells you she's very close to moving her headquarters out of New York City. She cites everything
said
from
this?
taxes to the crushing cost of living for her employees in New York City. How do you convince that CEO to stay? Please look into the camera
Bribery.
and make your elevator pitch. You have 30 seconds.
We know Longhouse. Look in
the
the camera.
Other companies in New York City. I'm sorry.
We just went for it.
The question is to me in this camera.
Yes, the question is how do you
They're so old.
convince the
This
CEO
is
of a
bad,
company with
man.
1,000 good jobs who's
New
looking
York
to move
is
out of New
cooked,
York City
dude.
because of the high cost of living for her employees and taxes, how you would convince her to stay in New York City?
In 15 seconds?
30.
Okay.
30
15
seconds.
now.
I get it. I understand your frustration. I understand that the far left has been raising taxes and making
Only the
businesses
far
feel
left
like the
does
enemy.
that.
We get it. That's gone. The DSA, the socialist orientation, we're not socialists. It didn't work in Venezuela, didn't work in Cuba, didn't work here. We know that we have to work with business. We want to be your partner. We want to have taxes that help us grow our city, but are competitive for you.
We're at time.
He's
And
convinced
we
me.
want to
I'm
partner
relocating to New York.
grow your business and our city together.
Mr. Sliwa, let's talk about business because let's assume the big tech company that we pitched to Mr. Mamdani earlier has decided to move to New York, and it's 1,000 good paying jobs, and the CEO wants to be based in Astoria, Queens. But there's a loud pushback of residents who don't want the noise and the traffic. How can you convince the residents to accept the
Don't
new
you
neighbor?
live in New York?
You're speaking to a very powerful community. How can you convince them?
But we saw that with Amazon. Amazon wanted to come in, and AOC led the charge, and local elected officials to say no to Amazon. That was a big mistake. I would say this. Our companies are being recruited away by the day. We have young people who are going to school here who could fill their needs in these high-tech industries who also are being lured away. We need to cut their income taxes for 5 years. Tell them if you go to school here, graduate here, no income taxes for 5 years. It's an income tax holiday. And the most important thing, we have to be able to assure the executives that this will be a city where we don't lock up toothpaste
New York City
any longer,
has a
but
city
lock up
income
the criminals
tax.
who make it
He's not talking about
intolerable
like the state
to have a
income
good
tax.
quality of life.
Thank you.
We need to move on to a
That was
subject that
the
is.
Democratic Socialists of America that stopped Amazon and cost us 25,000 jobs. So
Thank
it's
you,
real
Mr.
life.
Cuomo. We need to move on to a crisis that is very important to a lot of voters, and that is people struggling with mental health problems. Roughly 500 times a day, someone calls 911 about an emotionally disturbed person. And in a limited number of those cases, when the person is not believed to be violent, social workers are dispatched instead of police. Mr. Mamdani, you want to do that on a much larger scale. So we want to know, how will this work? When will you send police versus social workers?
Calling it a
You
mental
have
health
1
crisis.
minute.
Like,
I know.
It's a crime
we
crisis.
have a program here in New York City called Be Heard that is attempting to do this kind of work. But we've had a mayor who has ensured that it's been unsuccessful, to the extent that even when there was an assessment of about 60% of calls that could have been addressed by Be Heard instead of the NYPD, Be Heard was not actually responsive to it. And that's because we haven't had the political will to deliver on what is a crisis that affects so many New Yorkers, which is the mental health crisis. What my plan will do, an innovative plan of the Department of Community Safety, will take what has worked elsewhere in the country, a program in Eugene, Oregon, where they took 24,000 911 mental health calls out of the police department. They were able to respond to all but 311 without police assistance. When there is a concern for safety or of violence, absolutely, you would have the police there. But what we are doing today is actually ensuring that every single call is going to the police and not allowing them to do the work that they signed up to do.
How will you determine whether there is a concern for safety or violence? What is the line between the calls
I'll ask what color
in
they
which
are.
police will be dispatched and the calls to which social workers will be dispatched?
The line is also going to be one focused on violence and the threat of violence. And I also trust the operators who will be receiving those calls to make that determination as they do every day today for so many emergency services.
And just two really quick points, please. There has been a lot of discussion that you would send social workers to domestic violence calls, which police are concerned about. So you're saying no, okay.
How come his head is at a slight angle?
How can you be sure that a situation that does not sound violent when someone calls 911 does not become violent in the moment? Would police be assigned as backup?
I think what you do is you actually follow the experts that have shown us this can work when you're willing to ensure that you're trusting the mental health experts who have been doing this work elsewhere in the country, where they call for the police when they need the police, but their initial impulse when there's no violence.
I was going to say I take offense to that, but I'm not sure if he's a communist or an Islamic extremist,
so I don't know which way the joke is supposed to go. You have encountered plenty of these types of situations in your decades of work with the Guardian Angels. So do you see this approach working? You're not a police officer, but you've helped out in situations.
Play a video of him just like mercilessly beating a criminal.
Another fantasy that's not reality. Eugene, Oregon. Have you ever been to Eugene? I've been to Eugene. Come on, this is New York City. We have so many emotionally disturbed persons that are in need of help. I will tell you this, Andrew, you closed the mental health beds that were taking care of them. 40,000 when you came into office, down to 4,000 because of your cuts, which forced these people to live in the streets, in the parks, in the subways.
Crime at all yet.
These people need to be removed.
Mention of victims.
They need mental health care. We need to make our shelters safe.
Yeah, of course.
I've been in one-third of the 300 shelters run by the Department of Homeless Services. It's Darwinian there, survival of the fittest. If we can make our shelter system safe, we can get men and women who are homeless in there, especially veterans who we're not giving any attention to, who we put out in Ward's Island at 10 o'clock at night, released during the day, don't give any training, have them roam about, and obviously when you have nothing to do, you end up getting into trouble.
Yeah, dude, it's a bunch of veterans causing crime in New York. That's the problem.
Plan that we have in New York City. And I'm the mayor that can change it because I deal with them every day in the streets, in the parks, and the subways.
Okay, Mr. Cuomo, do you think that the NYPD handles these calls for emotionally disturbed people in distress well?
I think Zoran's got like an inner ear infection.
Something in the middle?
There's like people are tweeting.
Trying to let the water out of his
head's always tilted.
Deals in theory. There's an advantage when you actually have experience. I've run homeless programs. I ran the homeless programs for the federal government. I worked with cities all across the nation.
I've run the homeless.
When you get a call on a telephone about a mentally ill person,
old school electricity.
He's like,
no, it would grind the
It is
grains.
a very dangerous situation.
It would force men to walk on a wheel.
I think you should have a mental health worker
and it would grind their grain.
accompanied with a police officer.
That's just wild.
Because these can be explosive situations.
Oh my gosh,
I have been in situations that seemed apparently calm.
Prisoners would be forced to walk on a wheel.
It
would be chained,
into violence
and they would be standing on a wheel with platforms, and it would spin, grinding the
So I would have a social
RFK's
worker
going to bring that back.
with a police officer and get the people off the streets. That's the humane thing, and get them the care they need. Not institutionalize 40,000 people again.
Oh, it would
we have
mill or
supportive
pump
housing
water.
now, which is what we use, and forensic beds for people who need them.
Now, let me get this straight. A police officer is there first. He has to wait for the arrival of a mental health care worker.
No, I would send them as a team.
As a team.
That sounds like a great buddy cop
That's not
movie,
realistic.
Dude.
You're dealing with fantasy also. Right. The police officers are going to be the first one on the scene, and they're always going to have to deal with it first and foremost.
Mr. Cuomo says that he has experience running homeless programs. What he has experience doing is cutting funding for the very programs that prevented homelessness here in New York City. As the governor, he cut funding for the Advantage program, which was putting New Yorkers who had otherwise been in shelters, otherwise been homeless, into apartments.
Let's make a buddy cop movie about two social workers.
Told me how that pushed her out of
We can end homelessness.
Brief response, Mr.
He's
Cuomo.
talking about a program 14 years ago. That was a pilot program that had a work requirement. It was very controversial. It was $65 million.
You're talking about Advantage, just so we know what you're talking
program.
about? Okay.
It was 14 years ago, $65 million. I added billions to the homeless budget. funded the homeless budget larger than any governor in history.
Okay.
He
okay,
cut
thank
that
you. We want to talk
program.
about.
He
all right.
cut that
Mr.
program.
Mamdani,
Homelessness skyrocketed
Mr.
after
Mamdani,
It
we
did
have
not.
aired
It
this.
was 14 years ago.
Did not.
It was during the Bloomberg administration. And yes, okay.
Okay. I want to ask you about climate change. As New York City confronts the impact of climate change, one issue already on the desk of the next mayor is Local Law 97. It's passed in 2019. The law requires large buildings to gradually reduce greenhouse gas emissions by 2030. Wow. That may require very expensive upgrades to buildings, which some landlords and co-op owners say they just simply can't afford.
Dude,
we're wondering how each of you would enforce the law.
I just want to make a comment.
You have 30 seconds. Mr. Cuomo.
Local Law 97, I support. Implementing the law is going to be the key, because it has to be done in a way.
What was that, Seamus?
Every question and every answer is a nightmare for anyone trying to do anything productive.
Right.
Like, they're like, what about higher taxes for people who own businesses? What about the fact that we have no desire to uphold law and order? We want to let criminals do whatever they want and steal whatever they want from people. What about these extra regulations we want to impose on businesses to fight climate change and ensure every single building is like rigged up with devices that minimize CO2 emissions? It's like, what a nightmare of a city.
I know everyone wishes that political debates were real, and this is as close as you get with shows like this, because if I was asking these questions, I'd be like, is there anyone up there that believes that the federal law pertaining to immigration should be enforced as is written? Yeah. And then I'll be like, nah. And I'd be like, okay. Or like, Zoran, how come you won't straighten your head? What's wrong with you? But for real, these are the questions people are thinking. And I'm half kidding.
He's dark tetrad.
He's a narcissist, in my
it's funny, but he probably is.
Mayor, I slow that process down. We need our co-op owners
Would you bother voting for Sliwa?
to stay in New York City and not leave.
Hassan was just tweeting complaining that he got brought up and that
started before me. It was a very dangerous situation.
Dude,
serious person to bring.
October 7th isn't going away.
He's only bringing it up to try to distract from that. That's it.
K9/11 is going to keep going.
I love K9/11. Hassan tweeted, deeply unserious person to bring a Twitch streamer up twice, especially considering I oppose the Republicans. Cuomo works with them to gridlock New York State politics.
He brought it up twice?
I guess,
Wasn't he specifically asked, though?
That's what Hassan said.
Dude, wouldn't it be amazing if, like, for no reason, Zoran Mamdani is like, climate change is a very serious problem for New York City. Hassan did shock that dog, but we're going to upgrade our buildings.
So much of what is necessary.
I'm going to say it. I think the dog deserves to get shocked.
We've seen it be done in the Clean Energy Challenge.
No, Sliwa does that. He's like, well, I actually like Hassan, and I think his dog deserves it.
To assist those condo and co-op owners in meeting the standards we desperately need to hit.
They sell shot collars for a reason.
Somewhere Christy Noam's taking notes. I don't have to shoot them.
You have all said that you want to be mayor for all New Yorkers. So will you march in all the parades that mayors have traditionally marched in, or are there any that you would boycott? Mr. Sliwa?
Well, they brought
I
back
think
the
a mayor has a responsibility, whenever possible, to march in parades, to celebrate whatever that parade is performing as. I've been a Grand Marshal of the Pulaski Day Parade. I was proud to celebrate my Polish heritage.
Are there any that you would boycott, though? I just need to move this along.
Excuse me?
Would you boycott any of the city's parades?
No, I would not boycott any parades. It's the mayor's responsibility to be available to all racial, ethnic, and religious groups.
No, I wouldn't unless they discriminated.
Okay.
Meanwhile, in Florida, the LGBT parade that happens every year.
I'd be focusing on the work of leading this city.
Which parades?
I've already missed a number of those parades because I've been trying to speak to as many New Yorkers as possible.
Okay.
I don't have the list of all the parades I've missed.
Wow, that's a lot. The mayor should be going to all parades.
Let me ask you this.
I am now announcing in New York City, because they've all said that they won't miss a parade, the White Americans Only Parade.
I have not thought. I don't even know what parade doesn't exist, frankly.
Well, the White Americans of New York Parade.
Every parade has the right to exist in New York City. I would ask you to protect the Christopher Columbus statues.
I'm telling you, my focus is on affordability. I'm not thinking about
you're not answering the question.
Thank you.
They're not answering the question.
He gave the finger to the Columbus Day statue.
That issue's come up.
That's what we call it, disgraziado.
Listen, we're in the last couple of minutes, and we thought we'd have some questions.
This is hysterical, dude.
We thought we'd have some questions that maybe give a glimpse into your life, your personality, away from the political podium. What's your go-to breakfast order at the bodega?
What kind of question is that?
What do you ask?
Eggs and cheese on a
Laurent should be like,
Mr. Cuomo?
Same thing, no salt also.
Mr. Mamdani?
Egg and cheese on a roll with jalapenos.
Yeah.
He eats it like this.
Have you ever purchased anything in a
I'm going to give him that
cannabis
one.
shop?
That's the correct answer. I'm not kidding. Bro,
I have.
Nothing like a good Kaiser American cheese white.
I purchased marijuana at a
and
legal
yellow
cannabis
American.
shop.
Okay.
With some fried egg and some jalapenos.
Mr. Sliwa.
When I was shot 5 times, I've had Crohn's disease. I did use medical marijuana. Yes.
Okay.
I'm high right now.
In a dream
actually.
scenario, we know it's not possible, but the Mets are playing Game 7 of the World Series on the same night as the Knicks are playing Game 7 of the NBA Championship,
divisive.
and you can only go to one.
Sliwa's going to go, who?
Which one will it be, Mr. Sliwa?
I'm going to focus on
which
New
baseball
Yorkers.
team?
This is the Mets, Game 7, Knicks, Game 7. Even
I'm not going to the Mets game. I'm a Yankee fan. True baseball fans, either like one or the other. I'm going to the Knicks game. That's my team, the Knicks.
Mr. Cuomo?
I'm going to go half and half. I can make it back and forth.
All right.
Oh,
Ms.
what a
Mamdani?
cringe
This is what New Yorkers are sick of. Just pick a team.
What's
Come
your
on.
answer?
I'll be there for the Knicks.
Okay. Well, there's a lot of ground covered. We'll leave it on that light note. Thank you,
Mamdani was kinda
candidates,
cooking.
for a spirited debate. We thank you as well. We hope you got a lot out of it.
I gotta
New
run
York City
for
voters.
office. I gotta
The
do
New
it.
York City
They're like
Campaign
basically
Finance
doing
Board, we
hinge
thank
prompts
heartily, and we
as
urge
the
you to check out their
question.
website.
I want to run for office, but not to actually win, just to say based things on stage. Just shockingly offensive things. Like, they'd be like, okay, the Knicks and the Mets, where are you going? I'd be like, neither of them. They both suck. Give me a better question.
I've always thought if I run, I'm going to run a smear campaign against myself. I'm going to say just the worst things about me. Everything that would come out during a campaign, I would just say it up front. So we can talk about actual politics and policies.
So like Eminem.
Yeah.
Just take away all the power from just start rapping about how all the terrible things that happened in your life.
I did strike a child with a vehicle once. That did happen. I think I should air it out now.
It was intentional.
He was riding his bike in the crosswalk, which is
everyone hates cyclists.
He was riding his bike on the sidewalk, but he had it coming. I thought.
Well, he was going to grow up to be a bicyclist too. So you got to nip it in the bud.
He had a menacing hair sticking up like that alfalfa character from Little Rascals, and it grinds my gears.
He's fine now.
He's fine now, mostly.
He drank most of his meals anyway before this. So
Yeah. Should we go back talking about news?
Absolutely.
Yeah, please.
Hey, let's get controversial. We got this from Mediaite. Ben Shapiro takes torch to his own colleague's weird idea that conservatives must unify with far right.
Coming up on today's Ben Shapiro Show, President Trump honors Charlie Kirk with a posthumous Medal of Presidential Freedom. Plus, we get to a supposed blockbuster Politico story about groyperism, white supremacy, ugly stuff inside young Republican chats. What does that mean? And what is the duty of conservatives to, quote unquote, unify with such stuff? We'll get to all of it. First, October is packed with new releases.
All right, anyway, so Matt Walsh was like, we got to put aside our differences and come together to defeat the left because the left is evil. And Ben Shapiro was like, actually, gang, we don't have to do that. And we shouldn't do that because they're weird and they don't like Israel. And so that's basically the debate. Which side are you guys on?
Whichever side gets more Tim Pool impersonating Ben Shapiro. That's the side I'm on.
Can you do more of that? I want to hear more argument.
More argument from Ben? No, that was the argument. You get what you get. And now we're going to have a serious discussion over who's correct. Matt Walsh, join the Groypers, or Ben Shapiro, no Groypers. Were they even Groypers?
Well, that's the thing.
No,
I don't know if they were Groypers.
yeah.
And also, I don't know if they were talking about Groypers, but I'm going to tend to agree with Matt Walsh on things, if I'm honest. Now, that's maybe not the best way to approach something like this because I haven't heard both arguments, but just generally I'm more aligned with Matt Walsh.
I agree, and not for any of the substantive reasons. It's just because in my mind, I can imagine Walsh screaming Deus Vult at Ben Shapiro.
Look, all Zoomers are Nazis on some level.
I said it the other day.
That they're not Nazis, and they are.
Zoomerwaffen. I said it the other day.
They grew up on the internet. Why is anyone surprised that they talk like this in polite company? You know.
When I will say I err with Matt Walsh. That's where I side with it. It's because I have a family group chat. It's my wife and all of my kids, and my wife actually had to get kicked out of the group chat because of things that my kids say. She's like, I just don't want to hear these things from my children. Where do they get this from? And I'm like, I just said it.
I just want to make a point real quick before we even read this. This is really important for you, actually, because there was a time when you and everyone else who was caught up with all the nonsense of January 6th would have been considered too extreme for other people on the right to to advocate for. So who's deciding who's too far right for us to stick with?
You have to go.
And the left always sticks with the far left, no matter what.
No, that's not true. You have to go.
You don't think so?
No, not at all. They excommunicate people all the time. Look at what they're doing to.
They'll excommunicate
look what they're doing to
people
Fetterman
for not
right
being
now.
Far left enough. They excommunicate people for not being far left enough.
Yeah, that's true. It is always the more moderate people that get booted, but it doesn't mean that they always stick together. They do boot people. And then it depends on who and what, who they're talking about and what was said.
Yeah.
I don't think there was anything in the group chat that I've seen, just talking about what I've seen. There's nothing in there that I've seen that struck me as anything other than dudes just shit posting, right? That's what that's what it seemed like, all the stuff that I've seen. And I'm perfectly fine with jokes. I don't care.
Let me read. Matt Walsh says, the right doesn't stick together. That's our biggest problem by far. Conservatives are quick to denounce each other, jump on dog piles, disavow, attack their allies. I said a few weeks ago that we all need to band together in the wake of Charlie's death, and the answer I got back from a lot of people on the right was basically no. Well, okay then, guys, we'll just lose instead. The left will keep up the unified front and defend their guys no matter what, while we keep throwing each other to the wolves at every opportunity. Great plan. I want to stress this as the point you guys are just making. Matt Walsh is not saying to join neo-Nazis. He's saying the guys that were making these posts are not. They were just they're trying to be edgy in a group chat. Yeah. And by all means, you can argue maybe a little inappropriate, but not meant for public eyes. It was what's the political equivalent of locker room talk? Basically that.
Shit posting, what Phil said.
And so I have no problem saying in certain circumstances, if someone said something racist or disparaging, I'd be like, oh yeah, that's terrible. Next question. Of course. Right? You know what I mean? When the left goes online and they publicly advocate for my murder, they get celebrated. Yeah. And I don't see AOC coming out and being like, everybody on Blue Sky needs to chill out. The funny thing is, the left's version of this is publicly available for everyone to go watch, and they never denounce it. And the one time the right has something not even nearly as offensive what the left does on Blue Sky, it's the apocalypse to these people and to conservatives. So, silly.
Agree.
I'm with Matt Walsh on this one.
Yeah.
Did Gavin Wax ever deny the allegation that he leaked it, or is he just complaining about being canceled?
Is that what everybody's basically saying he did it?
I don't think he's denied it, which is telling.
I'm curious.
And if it's true that he was the one who leaked it to Politico, that appears to be just over personal beefs within the YRs, not because he saw this group chat and was clutching his pearls, gasping in scandal. He probably talks the exact same way in his group chats.
Some people are claiming that Gavin,
young right-wing men under 30.
This is important. There's people claiming that Gavin Wax didn't leak it.
Okay.
It's a false story pushed by Politico to create division within the young Republicans.
Okay. Well, then who the hell did it?
Well, we don't know, so I have seen people post hey, Gavin did not do this. And my response is, okay, well, I need proof that he did if you want me to condemn somebody. Sure. I will tell you this outright. You want me to condemn somebody? Disloyalty? Done.
That's
2 seconds.
Right. Amen.
Don't care.
Amen.
I have more of a problem with the person that leaked it than with any of the jokes that were made in the chat.
Yeah, whoever leaked it needs to be excommunicated. And Matt is right that people on the right are just allergic to taking their own side.
Whoever leaked it, I will give a ride. They can ride shotgun in my Cybertruck to the latest DSA meeting where they can join their new faction of leftist
Losers.
Well, Matt's right here, though. I mean, we need generals on the field. We've not actually won yet. The Republicans do a good thing. We maybe win an election, then we go to bed.
There is no winning. It's not like we're ever going to be in a position where it's the left has been vanquished.
It's over.
We can always, even the founders knew that, whether you like Reagan or not, he said, look, we were only one generation away from losing liberty. The founders knew that the price of freedom is eternal vigilance. This is not something where we can just say, oh, we won and now it's done. It doesn't end. There is no. It's over. You're going to have to always be teaching your children and creating culture and doing all the things that we talk about. There's no stop.
Generational mindset. Yeah.
Milo posted this sworn affidavit from Michael Bartel saying that Gavin blackmailed him to get the chat or whatever. And people are saying that's evidence, and Gavin hasn't issued a statement. So for those not familiar, Gavin Wax, he's been on the show before. And I think he works in the Trump administration, right? He is the COS Public Diplomacy and Public Affairs at the State Department.
I want to make another point here too, because I think this often gets lost in these conversations, which is that working with a person or group of people does not mean you endorse everything else they believe. It doesn't mean you endorse everything else they've said, and it doesn't mean you endorse everything else they've ever done. So this conflation will occur where it's like, well, Matt Walsh says the right should stick together, but there are some bad actors on the right. Okay, well, you can work with bad actors in certain circumstances if they share a positive goal, which is why people spent years talking about bipartisan efforts. Oh, well, even if Democrats are trying to do something good, I'm willing to work with them on that. People talk about Trump pushing for criminal justice reform in certain areas and how good it was that he was willing to work with the left, even though they're completely evil because one of their goals was good. And so my argument is, if the standard is that we should be willing to work with leftists who hate our way of life and want to destroy our country if we have a similar goal, how can you not say that we should work with some people on the right who we don't agree with on everything?
We wouldn't have NASA without that.
Operation Paperclip.
It's just crazy that after Charlie Kirk's assassination, this is still even a conversation because he understood this perfectly.
Agreed.
He worked with and never said a bad word about anybody he worked with, despite disagreements, despite being pushed behind the scenes and publicly to condemn so many people he worked with, including Tucker Carlson, most notably. And this is still even a conversation that we're having on the right.
Too many people are absolute cowards. They're afraid of what the left is going to say about them. And that's something that we need to become completely allergic to, right? I don't care what the left is going to call me. They've already called me everything that they can. I know what kind of guy I am. I know that I'm not a hateful person. I'm not like these people have to get out of here, blah, blah, blah. I'm just not that guy.
Well, and I just want to mention, obviously this is something I would say as an evil right-winger, but I know everyone here, I don't know you as well, but everyone here, I know, none of you are secret haters behind the scenes saying these wild things, but I'll see the accusations that are lobbed at all of us for our political views, and it's complete and total nonsense. But ultimately, the thing that really has to be considered, going along with what Mary said about how insane it is that we're still having this conversation after they killed Charlie Kirk, is, of course, yes, Charlie Kirk wouldn't condemn certain people on the right, but also this is past the point of them canceling us, right? Lives are at stake here. You don't throw people under the bus when there are lives at stake.
I got a tweet here from Matt Walsh, and I'm going to completely disagree with him. I'm sorry, guys. I can't side with Matt. Let me read this tweet for you, and just let me finish this, and I'll explain why just Matt's wrong. He says, one side of the aisle is responsible for the mass slaughter of 60 million babies. One side wants to castrate children. One side wants to destroy the family in the church. I just fundamentally reject any claim that there is any moral equivalence between the radicals on the right and those on the left. Get back to me when these right-wing radicals actively fund and facilitate the mass execution of babies, and then we can talk about moral equivalence. Yes, I will unite with anyone to oppose this force. No, stop. Matt is completely wrong. Okay? It is not radicals on the left that abort babies, it's the moderates.
Exactly.
That's not a joke, that's the truth.
No, you're completely correct. That's the only thing he's incorrect about there, and it's very technical.
He was also pointing out that this is personal to him because after Charlie Kirk died and leftists were celebrating it, his name was probably the second most popular suggestion of who should be next.
Yep.
And when you add that level of gravity to it, you understand why he would respond this way.
Mm-hmm.
Yep, 100%. People are out there literally calling for violence against him and his family. And no one on the left is decrying that. They're at the same time demanding that he decry bad statements from other people on the right.
Mm-hmm.
Well, the goal is to make us quiet, is to make us silent. And I tell people, if you're afraid of, because they're afraid of losing something at this point, their lives. But if you're afraid of losing something that causes you to be quiet, you've already lost it because you've given it up.
Amen.
Let's jump to this story to give some people hope. This is from Kalshi. Which party will win the U.S. House next year? Holy crap, it's 50-50. Take a look at this. This is remarkable. So historically, the opposition party will win control of the House, opposite to the presidency. And Democrats in April were at 80%. Well, now it's 54% Democrat, 46 Republicans. They're not polls. This is the prediction market, meaning regular people have decided to make a bet the Republican Party is going to win, which is crazy, but I believe it's true. Why? There is only one thing that trumps economics in an election, and it is security. And the far left has been violent and dangerous, and they've been escalating. I think people see that, And they're like, this is terrifying me. Regular people, and that's why slowly over time, the Democrats' chances have been going down. However, as of recent, the major issue is that it appears the Supreme Court is set to agree with Republicans on getting rid of this race-based districting program that exists. Newswire says Democrats in the South face wipeout if Supreme Court guts Voting Rights Act. They likely will. That's the prediction. If they do, then all of these race-based congressional districts will be gone, and Democrats will lose upwards of 20 seats. Stephen Miller saying, how many people just realized Democrats had as many as 20 extra seats based on years of unconstitutional race-based gerrymandering?
Literally, the entire argument from the left here is that there is a right that exists somewhere hidden in the penumbra of the shadow of our Constitution that minorities have a legal right to voting blocks based on their ethnic or racial identity, which is insane.
Yeah, I mean, it's clearly, but the 14th Amendment gives, guarantees equal protection. And that doesn't mean that, they're allowed to make sure that certain races are represented. That's it. You can't guarantee that, we have to make sure that we district in a way to ensure Democrats win, because that's really what it boils down to.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah, they want like a racial electoral college.
Yeah.
Yeah. They want the electoral HCBU. No, but seriously, they want like an electoral college on the basis of which ethnic or racial group you're a part of, and then your vote counting towards that voting block, and it's insane.
Which is odd to me because we both, all of us exercise the same rights and have the same rights. I understand the necessity to have rights based on your race or preference based on your race for how laws and things are passed and written.
What it is a tacit admission that certain racial groups have their own self-interests separate from other racial groups, and that's how they vote.
That sounds racist to me.
Sounds like really racist. And I don't know why these Democrats would say that horrible racist thing.
I shouldn't have said that. I'm sorry.
Well, you're just pointing out what they said. You're just acknowledging their entire argument, because that is essentially what they're saying. They're saying racial groups are going to vote as a voting block to protect their interests as a racial group, and that has to be constitutionally protected.
Forgot to mention, except white people.
Except white people, yeah, of course.
White people don't have any racial interests.
Mm-hmm. Well,
they should not vote based on
lowercase w. I mean, there's no white culture or white traditions.
They're Mayo monkeys.
I mean, what's your ethnicity, Mary?
100% Mayo monkey.
Oh, okay. So is that Spanish?
Close.
Ah.
Yeah.
I was going to say, I'm trying to figure out which one of us has the ethnic background to be angry with Seamus. What's your background? You look like you might be Anglo.
I'm American.
Yeah, but where from?
Oh, where are you really from? That's what we're asking. Where are you really from?
You look Irish.
I'm actually,
Irish is an Anglo, though.
So my mom did one of those 23andMe's. I have some Nordic blood and some Canadian blood.
Oh, okay.
Canadian?
Yeah, like 3%. I cried that day when I found it.
You're Scandinavian?
Yeah.
That's it?
Mm-hmm. Like, basically, yeah.
You want to hear a joke?
No, if
it's about Scandinavia.
How come there's no pretty women in the UK?
Isn't it the Scandinavians?
Oh, this joke doesn't work
stole them?
outside of Norway.
Because like the Scandinavians stole them all, isn't that?
Yeah,
Vikings
it only works if you're Norwegian. A Norwegian guy told me this. He was like, "You want to hear a joke? How come there's no pretty women in the UK?" And I said, "Why not? We took them." Everyone laughed in the room. They were all Norwegian. It was in Bergen. Yeah. And they were eating whale. That's not a joke. They were eating
actually honestly the most Giga Chad thing I've ever heard in my entire life.
It tasted terrible. I got to ask.
I believe that it would taste terrible.
They love it though.
Beans on toast is good. I stand by that.
Well, it's because they got the beautiful ones, not necessarily the ones you can cook.
I will argue that the British breakfast is better than the American.
Faux English.
Yeah. It's way better.
Oh, dude, I'm not like
mushrooms, dude.
Get rid of the mushrooms.
I'm not
baked beans,
grilled tomato, yeah.
Blood pudding.
Tim is some kind of liberal world traveler. I don't know these things.
Bro, have you had blood pudding?
No.
They drain the blood of the pig and then they just like compress it into a hockey puck.
What?
And you
it's
eat
so
it.
good.
Yeah, it's great.
It's so good. And I don't know what the white pudding is, but it's also good.
Is it good? Does it actually taste good? Like
it's great. It's like a sausage.
Okay.
And it's like it's not like
when I hear pudding, I think sweet. So I'm like, that sounds.
They call everything pudding there.
That's their whole thing.
Biscuits are pudding. I don't know.
Okay.
Bread pudding is like a piece of bread.
If you don't know what it is, it's pudding.
That's a word for anything.
I eat my blood pudding I put on my goat mask and dance around the fire. Sounds super normal.
So, but anyway, my compatriots, if should they then win in the Supreme Court, so be it. We shall never lose another election again.
Do you think that's true?
I mean, look at the newswire.
I mean, listen, that would look pretty. It would be an advantage.
I have a question, Seamus. Does this count as the South rising again?
I guess I don't know, man. That's a good question. I spent about 10 years of my life in Georgia. I'll have to ask them. I'll have to write some of my buddies.
I want to find out. I want to find out what it's like to have 20 additional likely Republican seats in the House.
That's great.
You know,
I mean, awful. I've heard winning is bad from a lot of Republicans. It's not what we want to do.
The thing is, like, it would be great to have those seats in the House. Honestly, like, unquestionably, it would be great. But that doesn't mean that you are going to be in any better position in the Senate. So, you know, I mean, we're still dealing with all kinds. The reason the government is shut down right now is because of the Senate, because Schumer doesn't want to, you know, or Schumer doesn't want to tell the Democrats to vote. So it would be awesome, yes, but it's not going to be a situation where it's like, oh, Republicans can do whatever they want now.
I don't know. Florida.
Look at this. So check this out. The 2026 Senate polls. Oh, no, not polls. We want the Senate interactive map. So right now the projection is 51 Republican seats with 45 Democrat, but 4 up for grabs. We could be if things don't change right now, we could have 55 Senate seats. But wait, there's more. Theoretically, these weak blue seats could flip if it really does get crazy. Check this out. The 2028 projection. I know we're still years away. It's like massively Republican. Is wild.
Yeah.
Wow.
And that's crazy because this would mean.
Wait, and this is with the redistricting?
No, this is president. 2028. We're 3 years away, right?
Yeah.
But let's pull up the House 2026 interactive map.
How is
current
Florida
projection
not deep
is
red?
Republicans have the lead, but there's no clear majority. But polling favors Republicans right now, which is crazy.
We keep hearing about how unpopular all the Republican policies are.
Nah, I'm sorry. The left is nuts, and everyone's just sick of it.
Everyone knows, yeah.
Especially after the killing of Charlie Kirk, I think this pushed it back in the favor of Republicans.
Yeah.
And the more these far leftists double down, I got to be honest. Trump may be trying to play this strategy again with Chicago, take the barriers down. I think maybe he's correct. Let me tell you. I always make this point. What would have happened if on May 29th, 2020, Donald Trump ordered federal law enforcement in front of the White House to stand down? The far left had torn down the barricades, injured 70 to 100 police officers. And then Trump was like, I think it was Bill Barr actually, get the troops out there, run them down. Pushed them all out, put the fire out at St. John's Church. The next day he walked out, took a picture with a Bible. That backfired. The media came out and said Trump violently attacked peaceful protesters for a photo op. What would have happened if Trump came out that night and said, due to the fear of great bodily harm or death of peaceful protesters, I am instructing federal law enforcement to pull back. There are violent elements outside of the White House. I am begging the peaceful protesters to please steer clear. You may get hurt, and we want to mitigate loss of life. They would have trampled the White House, ripped the fencing down, stormed into the building. St. John's Church would have been burnt to the ground. And the next day, Trump would have come out and he would have said the far left terrorists have gone too far. It would have been a wholly different reality to the George Floyd riots.
Wow.
Instead, Trump swept him out in front of the White House, as he should have, to be completely honest. But the narrative then became against Trump. What happened on January 6th? Trump wanted the National Guard. The mayor and Pelosi were like, nah. And then the worst thing imaginable happened. Via Getty stole the speaker's lectern, becoming speaker himself, and took over the U.S. government.
And listen, I didn't vote for Via Getty, but as far as speakers go, he was the lesser of two evils, in my personal opinion. So I get it. I don't know when we're gonna find this guy.
We didn't spend a single dollar of your taxes while I was in office. That's all I'm saying. All right.
While you were in the office.
Exactly. Right. But you could read about all these things and more of these stories in my book, Taking a Stand, which is just out now. Yeah. Great segue, right? Thank you. And you can buy it on unlicensed.furnituremovers.com. And if you order in the next couple of weeks, I will sign it for you.
I think Trump may be playing this game again, but a little bit differently in that he's saying, I'm going to send in the troops. I'm going to send in federal law enforcement. Then when the judges rule against him, he says that the judges ruled it. The difference between 2020 riots and now is that back then Trump could have made these moves and didn't. And everyone said if he does, they'll call him a fascist. I think that backfired because regular people were like, Trump won't protect us. This is different. This time around, Trump is actively sending in federal law enforcement and federalizing National Guard. And because of this, they're blocking him. What happens come Saturday if Chicago gets messed up? And then Trump comes out and says, we have made every attempt to send in law enforcement, put a stop to the far left extremism, but these judges blocked us from doing so. To the people of Chicago, I'm sorry we couldn't be there for you, but we will definitely make a change now. And then he will have his figurative casus belli to say, I'm invoking the Insurrection Act.
Trump came in as a moderate first term, and for his troubles and for his bipartisanship, they shot him. They went after his family. They sued him. They arrested him. They charged him with 34 felonies that mean nothing. And I think he's done. Now, do I think it's going to happen this weekend? My running theory has been the reason we haven't seen the arrests we want to see. Bolton's nice, but it's not, those aren't the people we want to see. I want to see Ray. I want to see Merrick Garland arrested. We're not in donation season yet. We're not close enough to midterms to make those arrests happen. I think people will forget if it goes 8 months after an arrest because indictments take time.
So that's what you think it is? You think that he's just waiting to do it when there's a better fundraising opportunity?
Yeah, when it's donation season.
Well, we got a story from the Post Millennial. John Bolton indicted for mishandling classified documents. My understanding is 18 charges or some ridiculous.
Wow.
26-page indictment. He was charged with 8 counts of transmission of national defense information and 10 counts of retention of national defense information. If convicted, 10 years in prison for each count. I say, lock him up.
Indicted by a grand jury in Maryland. Do you have a reaction to that?
I didn't know that. You told me for the first time, but I think he's.
I love when he says that.
He still says
I think he's a.
Because it means he actually did know.
It's too bad, but it's the way it goes.
The case against
That's
him?
the way it goes. That's the way it goes. Will I what?
Have you reviewed the case against him?
No, I haven't. But I just think he's a bad person.
Dude, I love him.
That's it. Bolton, of course, is a neocon warmonger. And most affected, Ilad.
Man, part of me wishes that
I gotta
he was here
check
tonight,
in on
right?
him, bro.
Yeah.
I'm gonna send him a text.
How are you
check
doing?
in on my boy.
Vlad, text us. And let us know you're okay.
He's gonna post a tweet of him just crying on X. He's even got the mustache.
Yeah, shoving popcorn or food down his face to eat, eating to make the sadness go away.
What are those things we have called those biscuits?
Biscuits?
Yeah, you know what I'm talking about, the Jewish biscuits.
Matzah?
Is that what it's called?
I don't know. I'm not
Matzah
sure.
Crackers.
Oh, okay.
What are they called?
Matzah. Yeah, unleavened bread because it doesn't have any yeast.
That's what he's jamming in his face.
Yeah, he's just shoving matzah
bread.
down.
Shoveling hummus.
Filka fish.
Hummus.
Just lox and bagels.
A 10-pound industrial restaurant.
Emotionally
grade.
eating so many bagels.
But like he's making them fresh, so they're fresh out of the boiler, and he's like carefully doing it. He's doing a great job, and he makes great bagels.
We're not sorry either. About this. We're not sorry at all. Can't wait for you to come back and say it to your face. Say it right to your mustache.
We can all have a great time as the world burns down around us. It's fun. But no, I mean, we're looking at winning the midterms, and John Bolton is going to jail. He's not Hillary Clinton, but he's like, what? Let's be real. Like, Hillary Clinton is number 1 or 2 on the list. Bolton's maybe 434 or something. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Letitia James is like 896. Comey's up there though. He's like probably number 7.
Yeah. I think they'll work their way up. I think there's more coming.
I do, and I think once it starts getting colder, we're going to see more on-the-ground raids from federal law enforcement and the Guard. I think they're holding back a little bit. When it gets a little colder, the rioters will stop coming out. Mm-hmm. Like, not even a joke. These people are just like, it's too hot to go outside, and so they don't.
Yep.
And then when it's cold, they're like, it's too cold to go outside. So it's spring and fall, really. I'm not exaggerating. When we used to track riot season, when we got and cover all the unrest 10 years ago, we were like, your core month is going to be April. That's like the month because it's spring weather and people are starting to get to it. And then maybe like June and July, you'll get some action. But it's September, August, it's like kind of hot. October, it gets a little cool and you start seeing people out there. That's why Occupy Wall Street was in September. It was mid-September. Mm-hmm. And then when November came around, people it got swept out because people were just basically like, it's getting cold. I'm out.
Yeah, like I don't want to sit out here. No,
it was pretty crazy how it started super hot and ended super cold.
So Derek Chauvin's only mistake was not doing it during Christmas time?
Yep. Mm-hmm. Oh, bro, for real. Like if this George Floyd thing happened in the middle of winter, nobody would even know about it.
Totally different history from 2020 on. Completely.
Crazy.
Yeah.
So what do you think, Tim? What do you think the likelihood is that we get an actual conviction out of this?
Oh yeah, definitely.
Yeah,
they'll probably plead out or something.
Yeah, I mean, he doesn't have the same kind of protections that other higher ups would. Like he had what
citizenship?
I don't think so. If I understand correctly, he had classified documents. He told people that he had documents, but he didn't tell them that he had classified stuff. He doesn't have the same kind of ability to say, well, I'm the president or blah, blah, blah. Like there's no question about like he broke the law with that. So
really?
Just what?
Yeah. Well, because the president has executive privilege. Yeah. So when they were trying to go after Trump for having classified documents, it's like, dude, the reason that classification exists.
That's
the reason executive privilege exists is for the president.
I mean, obviously, I only know what I've read when it comes to the stuff that's in the media, so there could be other stuff that I don't know about. But if I have my information correctly, he is in a lot of hot water. So.
And how did Bolton end up around Trump in the first place?
Bolton hired him.
Okay.
I mean, Trump hired Bolton.
No, I know, but I'm like, why did Trump hire? Because everyone's always seen him as a swamp creature. And I know that this happens routinely where Trump will bring someone into his cabinet. We're like, what? Why did you?
Didn't he historically just delegate that task of hiring personnel to other personnel who weren't on his side to begin with?
Yeah, it's unfortunate. He was not really surrounded by trustworthy people, unfortunately.
That's his own fault.
John Bolton is a dual citizen.
The buck stops with him.
John Bolton is a dual citizen of Israel.
Israel?
Yeah. Is he really?
No. What?
Since when?
Maybe they're going to get him on. Maybe he's spying. Maybe he's spying for Israel. That'll make it even worse. Go to jail for a long
John Bolton.
Time.
No, I don't think that's true. I don't believe that's correct.
Did you read that?
Yeah, I think that's made up.
The Times of Israel.
Oh. Interesting.
Huh. Because those lists that pop up all the time, where it's like it'll show it. You ever see those lists people make? It's like a grid of pictures, and it's a picture of a guy with a Jewish Star of David on it. My favorite was when they put Luke on it.
Yeah,
they put a Star.
They put a Star of David on Luke, and Luke was like, "What?" And then like the person who made it apologized, and he was like, "What?"
Those people they're just like everyone that rubs them the wrong way on the internet. They're like, "You're a Jew too."
Did you see Danny Polishuk did a sketch on that? Ryan Long's buddy.
I cannot. I can't find that anywhere, bro.
Yeah, it's not true.
My history.
Yeah, you made that up.
It was a claim from 2013.
Danny Polishuk did a really great skit where he's like the guy who makes those graphics, and he's like, I'm not anti-Semitic. It's just my hyperfixation is pointing out how many Jews are in things. And he does this whole thing
Yeah, so...
How many members of Congress are dual citizens?
435.
All of them. Here's a funny thing. It says, instead of telling me the answer, it goes, there's no requirement of the U.S. Constitution that prohibits dual citizens from serving in Congress.
Didn't ask that.
You dumb retard.
Bro, be nice to the AI.
I did not ask
it's gonna
about
rise up.
The law or restrictions.
It's going to rise up, man.
Dude, I asked it. This is the problem with ChatGPT. It is the stupidest AI. I'm sorry, something went wrong. I can't answer that question. What?
Oh, really? So nice, good.
So I'm still curious on this John Bolton.
Let's ask.
What do you guys think is going to happen? I mean, Phil, you seem to think he's going to get convicted. Tim, you think it's pretty cut and dry?
Yeah.
Wow.
Let's see what Grok says.
Yeah. What did Grok and ChatGPT have to say about
ChatGPT said something went wrong when generating the response. If the issue persists.
Interesting.
Gemini did the exact same thing. The exact number is unknown. There is no official requirement to disclose. U.S. law does not require members of Congress to publicly disclose this. In short, there is no... What?
That is outrageous.
Okay. Let's try Venice AI. It's just going to be like, here's a list of all the Israelis.
Currently, no sitting member of Congress is known to actively hold dual citizenship.
That's not true at all.
Well, do you
the guy
know
with no legs is a dual citizen.
The guy with no
legs?
IDF.
By his own admission?
There's a there's a congressman that was in the IDF that got his legs blown off.
Venice went straight for it. It said, to answer the question about the number of dual citizens, we must consider information available. From search results, we can infer that there are a significant number of members of Congress who are either immigrants or of at least one parent who was born to another country. There are at least 81 voting members who were foreign-born, who had at least one parent born in another country, accounting for 15% of Congress. Similarly, the 119th Congress had at least 80 lawmakers who were foreign-born. To provide an exact number of dual citizens in Congress, we would need more specific data. Based on the information, we conclude that there is a notable presence of immigrants and the children of immigrants in Congress, but the exact number of dual citizens is not specified in search results. So isn't it pretty wild that ChatGPT and Google were both like, well, there's no requirement to disclose.
That's the exact same thing that Grok 4 said, too. The exact number of members of U.S. Congress who hold dual citizenship is unknown. There's no legal requirement for members to disclose dual or multiple citizenship, so no official tally or comprehensive list exists from Congress, the Congressional Research Service, or other authoritative sources. This lack of transparency has prompted recent legislative proposals such as the Dual Loyalty Disclosure Act, introduced in March 2025 by Thomas Massie, which would require for federal candidates to report any foreign citizenships. I would like that to be law, personally, but it's unlikely because there's a lot of dual citizens in Congress. It's like getting them to, not vote for their own pay raise. So, but
Dennis said, based on the information provided, one member of Congress who has served in the IDF is Representative Jake Auchincloss. Is that true?
No idea.
I've never even heard of the guy. Is he still in Congress, actually? He is an American politician. He is a member of the House of Representatives from Massachusetts 4th. Did he actually serve in the IDF? Oh, wait. I don't know that that's true. It's hard to figure this stuff out because there's no hard reporting on it.
Yeah.
Venice AI says he served with the IDF.
I feel like we should know these things, though.
Yeah.
I feel like these are things we should know.
It should be at least, information that's able to be found,
I don't know. Venice said it, but I don't find anything online that actually proves that, so I don't know if it's true or not. And I like to be very careful about that stuff. Because I'm always hearing people say did you know that Luke Rudkowski's a Jew? And I'm like, he's not.
Yeah, it's become just a way to sling an ad hominem, more than anything accurate. People that don't like Jewish people and they don't like what you said, you must be a Jew.
It actually is pretty annoying that I can't get a definitive answer from any of these about how many dual citizens are in Congress.
It is.
Because it's not saying there's none.
It shouldn't be that hard to find.
Well, it is.
And I mean, it shouldn't be a difficult thing to find, but it is.
So Grok responded with, U.S. law permits dual citizenship, though the Constitution sets citizenship duration requirements for members without banning it outright. I didn't ask that. No official list or exact number of citizens and members of Congress are good, blah, blah, blah. It's weird that it answers the question in a way I didn't ask, as if I'm retarded. It's like, dude, I know you didn't answer my question. I'm not stupid. We're not a political debate here.
Bless you.
I asked you a question. I expect an answer. The answer is we won't tell you. Okay. Let's see. It does mention foreign-born. Example of current foreign-born senators: Michael Bennet, Ted Cruz, Tammy Duckworth, Mazie Hirono, Bernie Moreno, Chris Van Hollen. No confirmed current dual citizens. Well, there you go. They say it's debunked. It's debunked.
No.
Debunked.
As long as it's debunked.
Well, we're going to go to your chats and Rumble rants, so smash the like button, share the show with everyone you know. Really do it. If you like the show and you think the show is good, sharing is the most powerful thing you can do. So if you appreciate the hours that we put in, the work that we do, this is like the 4th podcast I do every day. Isn't that crazy? Yeah. So I do the morning show segments, which are news. Then now we've added the Tim Pool Daily Show. We've got the noon hour, and then we've got the IRL. Though Thursdays now is being hosted by Tate because clearly my brain is going to turn to liquid from working to such an insane degree. But if you appreciate the work that we do and you think it's valuable, then I require your assistance and share the show. The premium members only show is going to be up at about 10 p.m. Go to rumble.com/Timcast IRL to watch it, and you can go to timcastpremium.com to sign up for Rumble Premium. All right, what do we got here? Says the pillow guy lost his suit by default, and his company is getting sold off by the court. Is that Lindell?
That's the pillow guy, I think.
Yeah, that's the pillow guy.
My Pillow sold off.
Is that new? I know it was being...
I heard something about Yeah, I don't know. I heard something about it, but I don't know for sure. We'll find out.
Yeah, this was.
And NY says, given the Hassan controversy, would it be possible to do line PCC, but instead of Crisis Party, a team member gets zapped? Top donation gets to choose. If you farm the content, Tim, they will super chat. I'm offering up Hassan Piker right now an opportunity for a stream where Hassan will come on Pop Culture Crisis, and every $100 that comes in, he, wearing his own shot collar that he owns, will get shocked.
Okay, I could be down with that. Yeah.
It's a vibration collar, guys. Yeah. Just a vibration collar.
There was originally an idea that every Crisis Party would pour mealworms on us, so I'm glad that didn't come to fruition.
That's for the chickens. Oh, God.
Yeah.
Why would that?
It didn't happen.
Yes.
Thank God it
How do you clean that? You just got to let the chickens in to clean it up, right? Yeah.
David Flores says, anyone done a welfare check on Lil Bolton Elad? Have you texted Elad?
I did send him a message, yeah.
Did he respond with a crying emoji?
Let me check.
Can we phone a friend?
Let me check, see if he said anything.
Do you want to call him and get his take?
No, I mean, you can give him a buzz. I don't think I messaged him on Twitter. I couldn't find his number in my phone, which is
just left you on red.
Because I know I did have it.
Fitzy says, the legendary reporter Ryan Riley and his earplugs. Can anyone confirm was peak Twitter? And it was really funny because someone once claimed I did. They were like, weren't you that guy? Like the tweet went viral because everyone was making fun of him. Like, aren't you that guy who thought earplugs were rubber bullets? Like, no, that was the guy from Huffington Post, Ryan Riley or whatever. But I was there when that happened, and we were like, we were all laughing so hard. But we were also kind of offended because, like, me and my buddies we cover conflict and crisis. So we've been in disaster economies where a bottle of water is $50. We've been in places where you get shot, and none of these retards knew how to handle bullets flying through the air or like police lines and things like this. So numerous instances during Ferguson when guns started being fired, I think at least 3 top of my head, people were just standing there like, bah.
Yeah.
And it's just, bro, I was pissed because Vice put me in numerous circumstances where, like, I was in Venezuela with this one producer. And the simple version is there's National Guard with guns. There's protesters. They start screaming. They're running. The guys are armed with guns. And I tell these guys to move, and they stand still. I take 2 steps. I stop, and I scream, effing run. We run. We find some cover. And then they're going like, whoa, what's happening? And I was just like, oh, my God, dude. Do you see the guys with guns pointing them at people? Yeah. Do you see the people screaming at the top of their lungs as they begin to run from the guys who are pointing the guns at them? Okay. In a situation like that, where there's loud noises and fireworks going off because they were lighting fires and we don't know exactly what's happening, you want to run away. And the guy was like, dude, I've never done anything like this. I just do music videos. Not kidding. That's Vice. That's Vice. And I was like, I'm going home. I was like, bro, I'm not going to be responsible for you. I'm not going to risk my life to try and protect you from a situation you shouldn't be in. And then same thing happened with Ferguson. And it's basically why I quit Vice. Because they sent me out this woman who was like standing around as gunshots are going off going, it's just fireworks. And I was like, oh my God. It's like, I can't be responsible for this.
It's not fireworks.
Yep. That's the way it goes, man. That's Vice. Moljera says, always love seeing Adam on. Rest in power to Ace Frehley, guitarist of Kiss. So damn sad. Rest in power is a communist phrase, by the way.
Yep.
It is communism.
Yuck.
Lax King says, Mary, thank you for the reminder. Just picked up a few bags of Ghost Blend and Golden Hour to add to the shelf at Chronic Golf and Games.
There you go.
We now have every blend and roast available for our customers. Let's go.
Glad to hear it.
Pool water will be available soon. So the Liquid Death guy's like tweeting at me because we're having a debate tomorrow. And he's tweeted at me these 2 big, long tirades. And one of them was about how we can't possibly sell pool water for $20 for a 24-pack of glass. So I said it's glass bottles and it's cheaper than Liquid Death. Intentionally, we almost make no money selling these at this price. So he sent me this big long thing where it was basically like, there's no way you can ship for that price. The true cost for running a business is going to be $82.99 per pack. And it's funny. So I'll give him a heads up if he ends up watching this, because I didn't want to respond yet because I was like, we're going to debate tomorrow. I'm not going to give you the answers to the quiz beforehand. But I will say this. Man, it's almost like homeboy never heard of a loss leader. And it's actually shockingly offensive for a company valued at $1.4 billion that he would tweet in utter ignorance of what a loss leader is. Mr. Johnson, are you familiar with the concept of a loss leader?
I have no idea.
This is when a company intentionally sells a product either at a loss or break even because the product promotes the overall brand and increases sales across the board. Notably, news organizations have always been loss leaders for television networks or channels. They would have the news at 5 o'clock because although they didn't make money from the news, there was a cohort of people who would turn the channel on for the good news coverage and then leave it on after the fact, increasing their overall viewership. Reuters, for instance, famously is not a news company. Did you guys know this?
No.
They're a legal documents company.
Interesting.
News was always a way that they could generate public attention for their brand, which sells legal. It's something like that. So when we market pool water at a low cost, we aren't doing it because we're trying to get rich and sell a product nationally. We have a product available locally, which has minimal shipping costs, and we do it because it's funny and we're making fun of you. So it's just like this dude sends me this big, long tweet being like, actually, the total cost of shipping for a case of this water will be $35, which means you're going to have to sell your cases for upwards of $60. Now, to maintain your staffing, and I'm sitting there going like, Casper did $2 million in sales last year. We can afford to take a loss on a marketing campaign for a product called pool water. I don't expect people to be lining up to buy and drink bottles of pool water.
Bro, I'm going to buy it, all right? You sold me. You already got me. I'm buying it. I watched my friend build a company out of spite over the course of the last 2 days, and it's been a beautiful thing to witness. It's not what I thought would happen when I woke up that morning, but that's where the journey of the day took me.
Make your Ghost Blend with pool water.
So here's the reality, though. So I will be fair. Shipping liquid is expensive. So we can sell a case of water to literally anybody across the country, but you're paying shipping and handling, which is going to be insane. It's going to be, it probably is going to be like, I don't know, 20 or 30 bucks. That being said, locally, we're already talking, we've already got salespeople setting up. I want to be very preliminary, it's very preliminary, but the bottling plant is local, drivable for us to pick up. We don't need expensive shipping. We don't need to hire trucks. We have our own trucks. We have a Ford F-150 van, which can carry a ton of this water at our own cost, minimizing and reducing almost all the costs. However, I had a discussion with the team today, and we think we're going to increase the cost to probably $30 for a case of 24. And for one reason, we don't, at the $20 price point, they're shrink wrapped. And I said, well, that's a lot of plastic. And so I was like, I don't want all that plastic. What are the options? And we could do cardboard boxes, but they're more expensive. And we could do paper labels so we could really get the plastic down. And then I said, let's do that, which means we got to sell them for about $30 for a pack. But this means that when we go to local stores and restaurants in our area and deliver these at our own cost, it's going to be literally pennies on the dollar for delivery. We are going to profit off of these for local distribution. Real quick, if we want to do national distribution like Liquid Death does, we just have to set up distribution in local
I was just about to ask,
areas.
if it would be possible to source water in different parts of the country to make it more economic to ship.
Yep.
Cool.
So you don't have to. So right now in the area that we're in, shipping is dirt as long as we're selling locally. So once again, for those that are in the area, you expect to see pool water popping up at restaurants and all that stuff because we have the ability to deliver it and it costs almost nothing. And again, I think we're probably going to break even on pool water, but the whole point was we're making fun of Liquid Death with a product called pool water. And then the joke for carbonated version was spa water and the green tea was pond water.
Love it.
I don't expect to retire off of pool water.
This is the same thing. The reason I built the website, unlicensed.furnituremovers.com, is because I like trolling the government. I don't make a lot of money selling hats and pins, but it's enough to fund capital tours to go move lecterns and capitals all over the U.S. And I love being a thorn in the side.
Earl Jam 818 says this illegal immigrant cop should have every arrest he's ever made overturned. There's no way any of his arrests would hold up in court now. I agree. I completely. It's messed up. Let's see. A Rogue Patriot says, what would you do for housing, Woodrow Wilson? Shergirl says, I appreciate you talking over the debate. It would have been better if everyone had sombreros, though.
Touche.
Mecca Mech says, if you want to shock to your system, search on YouTube No Kings song and just watch the AI brain rot and read the comments. AI bots everywhere and fueling the fire. We got to stop these people. You know, I do believe that most of liberals' followers are bots. I've talked about it quite a bit. When Elon announced he was going to be buying Twitter, and this is before it was X, all of a sudden liberals lost hundreds of thousands of followers, and conservatives started gaining. And the theory was that to create the perception of popular liberalism, sock puppet, private corporations, Twitter itself, or the government were creating fake accounts to balance out left and right to make it appear as though leftists were prominent and conservatives were not. Once they removed the censorship, burned the documents, shut everything down, all of a sudden people on the right started getting their real numbers displayed and the left started getting their real numbers displayed.
Well, we know that you need a lot of moderating and meddling in order to ensure that the left is dominant on any online platform. The moment moderation is removed, the platform always becomes very right-wing, including like to places further to the right of where I am, to be clear. But it's just the phenomena that we find. It requires a lot of intentional rigging, moderating, and rulemaking to ensure that a social media platform does not become very right-wing. If all things are left neutral, it will.
There's a reason why the Mexican president is talking about arresting people for disparaging politicians by using memes and jokes online.
Because the cartel told her she had to or they'd cut her head off?
Yeah. But no, I mean, like, and hate speech laws always have to target right-wing perspectives or true perspectives. Obviously, that's because the left's in power. But another part of that is they know that something has to be done to shut that kind of thing down because it's what people are going to naturally gravitate towards. The left-wing narrative doesn't work without heavy social subsidizing because everyone knows it's not true.
Yeah, it's true.
Mythos says, ecumenism is wrong, Seamus. Aligning with evil for the greater good is a slippery slope.
No, so this is where I disagree. It's not true. There's such a concept as remote cooperation with evil as opposed to direct cooperation with evil. It is okay to work with people who are not perfectly in line with our values on everything if the thing that we are working towards with them and that specific thing is good. Otherwise, I could literally only work with someone who is like literally explicitly Catholic on every single issue and also who shared all of my personal theological opinions on everything, which doesn't even include all Catholics in good standing. So no, that's not true. That's not something that the church has said, and we are able to work with people in order to get things done even when they don't agree with us. So I don't know where you're getting this.
It's really it's encapsulated with the phrase, I will align with anyone to do good and I will align with no one to do wrong. So like,
Amen.
if you're a bad person that has bad opinions, but you're looking to do something that limits the power of the federal government, I'm probably going to be like, I like that. And if you're a great person who's done all kinds of great things in your life and you're like, well, but I also want to go ahead and make sure that, there's some policy that the government should do that I don't want them to do, I'm not going to be like, well, these are great guys. So,
yes.
Like that is how a normal, intelligent person looks at issue by issue. You don't go and say, I'm just going to align with this person because they're on the right. You say, I'm going to align with this person on this issue and this issue, but these issues that they're talking about, I won't align with them.
And by the way, by this commenter's logic, like you couldn't vote for a pro-life candidate if they weren't a Catholic on every single issue. It's like, but the church tells us that we should vote for the most pro-life possible candidate when we're given the choice. So again, I have no idea where they're getting that.
Well, I think what makes us conservative is that we have principles and we stick by them. So, I mean, I can give accolades to Fetterman when he's doing the right thing. AOC came out years ago in support of game stonks, people gaming the system. I'm like, oh my God, I'm agreeing with AOC. This is the first
I actually think there's left and right now, the principle. There's been great debates over what makes left and what makes right. It's just pro-America, anti-America. That's really it. Yeah. So if you take a look at what anybody, we've talked about it before, like if someone's flying an American flag, you know what side they're on. I think that's really it. You can have like these middle of the road centrist types who are they're liberals, but they're called centrists, and they're like, I'm pro-America and I want the border secure. Even some of these libertarian guys who are like, the border should be secure, and you're like, okay, I know what side you're on.
There was a person flying a Mexican flag in their yard in my neighborhood, and I actually reported them to ICE.
Really?
I just assumed.
You know if anything came of it? Did anything come of it?
No.
Oh
man,
man,
it was last week. So your time is coming, Pascal.
We got one from Mary Lurch. Says, Mary, is nothing ever happening again?
Nothing is always happening.
Katal Swiss says, I think I need Tim to yell at me more to donate to Twisted Plots. Seamus's pitch just doesn't motivate me enough. Why don't you just have AI make like a movie trailer that's really, dark in a world, of child sterility?
I feel like it would be more convincing if I made the trailer, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You should, you should do, because you're a comedy show, you can say things that aren't true and it's not fraud. So you could be like, if you don't donate, children will die. Actually, that's actually true. Like, if we don't win the culture war, children do die. So that's not a joke.
We need low bois. Bois.
Oh, yeah, and Bramps. Bram. Oh, my gosh. Bois and Bramps.
That's how you make a trailer.
Yep. Oh. Based African says, I don't think Trump is acquiescing to liberal judges. I don't think it's 5D chess, but I think he's biding his time, taking hits to build up support amongst city dwellers and evidence of illegality, like Hugh Jackman at the end of Real Steel. Yes, exactly like Hugh Jackman at the end of Real Steel. All right. Ian Slater says, Zoran just stated in the debate tonight, Albany will pay for his socialist programs. Him and Governor Hochul can't win their seats, or our state is screwed. Oh, bro, they're going to win, dude.
Oh, yeah.
Everybody fled your states. What are you going to do?
That debate was a formality. He's already won.
Yeah. All right. Random Trader says, a Muslim and a third candidate were run against the incumbent in Dallas suburb, Richardson, Texas. This split the votes of the majority, allowing the Muslim candidate to win. The votes will be split. Watch out for this trick. Mm-hmm. Well, I don't even understand why Curtis Lee was up there.
For the lulz.
Well, maybe he'll win, Tim. Maybe he'll prove us all wrong.
The reality is none of the candidates up there are willing to enforce the law. Like when they were all asked, should we get rid of illegal immigrants? They're like, no.
They're like, we love those guys.
Like, if they commit crimes. And it's like, yes, 100% of illegal immigrants have committed crimes.
That's right. It's in the name. Illegal immigrants.
It's in the name. Yep.
But all right. Yeah, they don't use the name. They say, friend we haven't made yet. Undocumented neighbor.
Newcomer.
Yeah.
Never Summer says Trump should endorse Mamdani so liberals won't vote for him.
I saw Mamdani's group chat.
Mamdani is really good. He's going to help you out in New York. He's got my full support.
That's hilarious.
I like them. Muslims, they do good hummus. I'll take a picture of like a hummus plate with a thumbs up like you did for the... Schlip says Mary should sell tofu burgers or something and call them nothing burgers.
That's hilarious.
I actually like tofu. Controversial, but...
No, tofu's great.
Yeah.
You just don't replace your meat with it. Like,
yeah.
When I go to a Thai food restaurant, I want the tofu and the chicken and the egg at the same time. You know what the best thing about pad Thai? Mm-hmm. Is that you kill the bird and its unborn children and eat them in the same meal.
Yeah.
I guess you could do like a...
Why is that the best thing?
It's metal. You know what I mean? Like right, Phil? That's metal.
Very
like the unborn and their own corpse in the same sitting.
So hold on.
It's metal is turducken.
It's metal.
Turducken's
what is this that you're talking about?
Yes. That is the most metal.
Is this...
Take three birds and shove them inside of each other.
You jam a duck into a chicken and a chicken into a turkey. Is that how you do it?
Yeah.
Yes.
The duck is the smallest, so the duck goes in the chicken.
Oh.
You can also throw in like a quail.
Partridge.
Quail, yeah.
Mm-hmm. That's not good.
I was in Arizona recently at Turning Point. And there's quails everywhere. And they just got those little things on their heads, you know what I mean? Just running around. They do. I don't know why.
Things on their heads.
I looked it up, and it said it's for, like, because the guys want to get laid. Like, they look at the girls, and they wiggle their thing. They're like...
It's peacocking, but like quail cocking.
And then the lady quails are like, he's got a big doodle. They go for it. I don't know what it's called. I think that's what it's something like that. You know, when I'm talking about chickens and I say, that doodle on their head, everybody knows what I'm talking about. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Right.
They've got the rubber glove thing on their head.
The rubber glove.
You're like, what is this thing that's on
It's
top
called
of
waddle, but
Okay. Well, I prefer
comb
my
and
way.
waddle.
I prefer
but
my way.
I like doodle. little doodle. Turkeys are gross, though. You ever see a turkey's face?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, dude. Turkey's sick.
Think of nightmares.
It's an affront.
The plan was never to eat it. We just wanted to cut their heads off.
Then some sick freak decided to see how it tasted.
Yeah. Okay, what do we have here? David Brickham says DACA is quite literally a child trafficking enablement law. That is correct. That is indeed correct. Say, what does it say? Cyrex Core says 8 USC 1324. That is all anyone needs to know. Now arrest them already. What on earth is taking so long? Zacatol says Nick Fuentes is a Fed and America First is a honeypot. Stay away. Look up Ellie Alexander and his America First controversy.
Whatever. Whatever.
The joke I would always make at Occupy Wall Street is when they were like, Tim Pool's a cop. I would go, excuse me, I didn't train at Quantico, so I could be called a cop. Thank you very much. They'd be like, huh?
I still get accused of being a Fed all the time. There's a picture of me at a BLM event the night before January 6th, and I'm not on the BLM side. I'm on the Proud Boys side. I had no idea it was Proud Boys. Glad that it was. And people take that photo and like, oh, he was at a BLM event. This guy's an obvious plant. Or I didn't go to prison for 20 years, so I'm obviously a Fed.
You should Photoshop yourself into a bunch of different random historical photos.
Oh, I have that thread.
So whenever they say, like, here's Sam at a protest, you can be like, you can put yourself, like, standing next to the grassy knoll.
I have that. So there's actually a series called The Immortal Ginger that I do. Or I'm going through time, and the lectern was actually cursed, and I was just trying to return it.
The lectern was first built in ancient Egypt.
Exactly. Well, I sacked Rome, so there's a picture of a guy walking out. So it's a whole thing.
You should make a picture book.
I'm thinking about it.
And then it's like you can follow the journey through time.
Kids book. There you go.
I got a kids book I'm working on March, April.
Actually, it would be a really funny comic if where it's like you were born in the year like 2030. And when you were in your late 30s, or how old are you now?
40 years old now.
So you're in your late 30s. You went to visit the museum, and when you were taking a look at the lectern, all of a sudden a rip appears in the space-time continuum, sending you back to ancient Rome.
Love it.
And then what ends up happening is you bring the lectern all the way through history, and then you're traveling through time, jumping through this rip, and one of them just blinks you into January 6th, and you never entered the building. You just appeared there holding it, look around, and then teleport out, but someone got a picture of that exact moment.
That's perfect.
Yeah.
And they traveled through time to find you. They like sent the feds after you.
Well, my story is I don't age since picking up the lectern, so I traveled through. So I had, I'm a ginger, I don't have a soul, so I'm not aging. So I had to flee to America because people were recognizing I'm living too long at the sack of Rome. And I had to find directions, new land, so I gave the Indians blankets for directions. And
a whole side story with that.
All right, everybody, smash that like button, share the show with everyone you know. We're going to that uncensored portion of the show at rumble.com/Timcast IRL. You don't want to miss it. You can follow me on X and Instagram at Timcast. Join the Discord server at timcast.com. Via Getty, do you want to shout anything out?
You can follow me on Twitter, Lectern Leader. It's LECTERN Leader. You can go on my website, buy my book. It's unlicenssedfurnituremovers.com, and the book is called Taking a Stand.
My name is Seamus Coughlin. Myself and my team have created over 600 animated shorts. The left dominates entertainment in this country, and we can't win the culture war if we're not making culture. That's why myself and my team have decided we are going to start making full-length 22-minute-long episodes. We already have a 25-minute-long pilot finished. We're working on crowdfunding the first season of our show. If you want to help support us, if you want to join the fight, if you want to help us take back the culture from people who are slowly chipping away at it through propaganda, go to twistedplots.com, pledge any amount. We'll be able to get you access to the pilot earlier. We'll be very grateful, and you will be part of this fight. twistedplots.com.
Guys, go subscribe to Pop Culture Crisis. We go live every Monday through Friday at 3 p.m. Eastern. You can send me validation on Instagram at Mary Archived, or you can send me hate on X. That is also Mary Archived, and help me get TikTok famous. That is also Mary Archived. And of course, head over to castbrew.com and grab yourself a bag of Mary's Ghost Blend. Look at this gorgeous picture of me. It's totally not unsettling at all. You should have this in your house. Phil?
I am Phil that remains on Twix. I just did a feature with a band called Zillion. The song is called Cannibals. You can head on over to Spotify right now and pre-save it. It'll be available on 10/17. That's October 17th. My band is All That Remains. You can check us out on Apple Music, Amazon Music, Pandora, Spotify, YouTube, and Deezer. Don't forget, the left lane is for crime.
We will see you all over at rumble.com/TimcastIRL in about 30 seconds. Thanks for hanging out.